Hello, family. Did y'all miss me? I'm smiling really hard because as I was waiting for the countdown, what's up to the Blue Crew? I appreciate you guys for always being here. The fact that there's 132 of you in here and we just started, I appreciate your timeliness. Just know if I'm ever running a little bit late because I'm doing admin or skincare, which I consider admin. As I was waiting for the countdown, I decided to look at our membership levels because you guys know we are not doing the Academy, which is a behind the paywall membership where we teach you things and have story times. They're a little bit too sexy for the YouTubes. And I checked to see how close we were to 100, and we just hit 100 as I was about to go live. Look at God. So that means that this month, I was hoping this would happen this month. This month, to everybody who joined and became a member, we are going to have a private live. Not something it's going to be on YouTube, but you're going to have to be a member to watch it. And I actually think for the very first one, I don't want to make assumptions. I'm going to ask you guys, every member who can hear the sound of my voice, who's either in the room right now, shout out to Flo, shout out to Lauren, shout out to everybody, Empress, everybody who's in here right now, who is going to be a part of that chat. I want you to start ruminating on, what do you want me to cover? Because I think that, and I was thinking about this morning, so much of why this has been a successful endeavor is because we're doing a dance, right? It's me and y'all. You guys tell me what you like, what you enjoy, what you find value in, right? Because likability and value and I was the same thing. And then I cross-reference that with what my spirit tells me makes sense, what my integrity tells me makes sense. And we keep finding these sweet spots in the middle. So I think what's going to happen is I'm probably going to find some interesting, inappropriate, but let's have a real family conversation clips for us to talk about what's happening in the social zeitgeist. And I'm going to open up the floor for you guys to sincerely tell me what you find value in so that we can customize the member experience to the members. Because here's the thing, I'm going to be honest with y'all. In this economy, a lot of people are going to ask you for money as a cash grab. They're going to take money from you, have a reoccurring charge in your credit card, and do the bare minimum to keep you engaged. The spirit guides that I serve won't let me sleep at night if I was to do something like that. The only reason we are doing the Academy, the only reason we're doing these members only conversations, because so many of you have told me that you saw value in it, right? Which is why I said, okay, if we get 100 people, I know it's not just a vocal minority, and it's a mutually beneficial thing where my time is not being wasted. Now that it is mutually beneficial and has in sound integrity, now and only now does it make sense for me to do this. And I'm saying this because, guys, please be very fucking careful. I was on TikTok barely for 3 minutes yesterday and spent $30 on something that I did not know existed before I went on TikTok, but was convinced within a minute that I needed immediately in 3 to 5 business days. The cash grab spirit lives so much in people that one of the things that I always say is, if you pay me for something, I want to give you double what you pay for, right? If you give me $10, I'm acting like you gave me 30 or 40, which is actually more than double. I should probably learn math. Also, speaking of listening to feedback, guys, and Preston's about to come on. I'm so excited. Oh, he looks so cute too. And we both have our shoulders out. We must have got the memo. All right. So before Preston and I start shimmying our chi-chis on camera, I also want you guys to know, if you look at the little ticker at the bottom, the Winter on Thy Shift class registration is now open. For those who are new here, hi, my name is Blue Tulusma. I'm a writer, a producer, a spiritualist, and an emotional intelligence coach. I've been doing emotional intelligence work since 2003 when I started working at the Harvard School of Public Health, doing educational curriculums for young people. And then I recognized emotional intelligence, we're talking about young people. I know adults who need this, right? So because even my writing career started off working in EQ at Harvard in academia, everything that we do in this space is called edutainment. And part of edutainment is when you have a hypothesis, you know the difference between a really smart hypothesis and fact. I thought that me doing my classes on a Wednesday night would be great because it's after work. Everybody can, hang out, get a nice drink, take the class. The classes are 2.5 hours a week. We are on week 3 of this the fall classes, and people have been crying and sending me thank you emails since the orientation, right? When you've been doing something for 20 years, by the time you get to the point that I'm at, we're doing what we know works, not what we think works. And one of the things that the class told me a couple years ago was, Blue, it's great that you teach these classes, but when class ends in October and now it's Christmas and I got to deal with my colorist, racist, homophobic, whatever, transphobic relatives, I feel abandoned by you. And that's when we started doing alumni classes, where during the holidays, we meet once a month, because it's not a class, it's almost like a check-in for people who have taken the class previously to check in with each other. So the alumni class was 100% a suggestion. Well, in the last 2 years, a new problem has arisen. Not a problem. Language matters. In the class we teach, there's no such thing as problems. There's only opportunities for growth, right? So a new opportunity for growth presented itself last year that I didn't listen to because I didn't have the bandwidth. But we have a lot of international people who take the class who have not complained. Blue, I am waking up at 2 a.m. in Sweden. This is really handsome man. I hope he's not blushing I said this, but we have this handsome guy from Sweden named Z. He is still black though, guys. We have people from all races and creeds, but just because I said Sweden doesn't mean he's black. And this beautiful black Swedish man wakes up at 2 a.m. to take my class. And last year we had a woman named Beth who had just had a newborn baby who was breastfeeding at midnight from like Australia to take the class. Then we have my homegirl who moved to Sierra Leone with her husband, and he took the class, and he was up with his kids at like 4 o'clock in the morning taking the class. And I started to feel like, Blue, your international clientele is not having the experience that you think you're having in LA. Hell, my East Coast people are complaining that it's late. So what we started doing is, for those who want to take the Wednesday class, which are already half registered, please feel free to take the Wednesday class. We would love to see you. And as of yesterday, something new. Moving forward, starting today, the link that you see at the bottom, winter26.eventbrite.com, we are now doing Sunday school. And I don't mean the religious kind. I was raised Christian, but I'm Buddhist, child. So you see how that went. We are doing Sunday school now, where there's two options. It's either the Wednesday class option, or you can take a Sunday class where at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. post brunch, East Coast time, or 7 p.m. London time, you can take the class. So if you're somebody on the East Coast who just was like, Blue, my schedule will not let me come on a Wednesday night. If you're somebody from another country who's tired of waking up with the howling of the wolves under the full moon, I heard you. You guys were very loud. We now have Sunday school very specifically for y'all. So, oh, hey, what's up, GSE? Gia's in here. I love this now. Oh, Vicious, now you can join. Yes, Vicious, you were actually one of the people who like tipped it. I was like, damn, it's even showing up in the live. Like I'm getting emails, I'm getting DMs, and now showing up in the live. So guys, just know that I am listening at all times. So respectfully, watch your mouth. I am a genie. I grant wishes. You say something foul, I can grant that wish too. You say something respectful, I'm going to sit on and ruminate on it, right? All right, now enough of this intro. Y'all know that I am working on this initiative to work on a tour, and part of the tour that I'm working on, and I'm saying it out loud to manifest it because I feel like God's already putting me in the lane, is I want to go on tour only with people that I sincerely like. Y'all know that me and Bridget are very close friends. I don't use the term best friend anymore because my heart got broken by my best friend of 24 years. Any adult who's ever gone through a best friend breakup, you don't use that word like that no more, right? Well, I not call people sisters or family, but the whole bestie thing after. So I don't use the word bestie, but Bridget is one of my absolute closest friends. And so because of her, and only because of her, I went on tour with her and her former co-host, Amanda, 2 years ago for See the Thing Is. And Amanda's assistant told me that me going on tour was also strategic because out of their top 10 viral videos, 5 of them were videos featuring me. So, you know, I was doing my whole cash cow thing where I come on to support the people with my presence. That tour was horrible. I have never felt more disrespected, more mistreated, and more like played with in my life. And the fact that I did not get arrested for mollywopping anybody shows that God is still working on me and yet still has done enough, right? Because I do not believe in toxic positivity. Just because I'm an emotional intelligence coach does not mean I don't have access to a full range of human emotions. That tour was such a horrible experience. When they broke up as a duo, and Joe Budden gave us a distinction of being the first Patreon that he ever signed up for. He said, hey, I was listening to Bridget and her co-host Blue, and based on how the ladies were talking, you could tell that they were really hurt by how they were treated on tour. I'm not going to say names, but you could tell who was treating me poorly. So somebody said, oh, it's wow. So look at this. It's 10:34 in South Africa. By the way, shout out to all the international folks who still show up for my foolishness. So when I left that tour, and saw how a beautiful opportunity, the audience was amazing. They were not the issue. I was like, okay, you know what, guys? I want to do my own tour one day. And the premise is it's only people who I like in real life. It cannot be a cash grab. Y'all know how I feel about cash grab because not all money is good money. Yes. It cannot be a cash grab. And so what I've been doing, and I'm saying this in front of Preston as pressure, what I've been doing is slowly but surely, every single week, y'all see me in here, bring people that I love and adore and like in real life. It's great that they have a digital footprint. That's for y'all, but I have to like them to sit here on live with them and have an energy exchange. And so I've had friends from New York. I've had friends from DC. I've had friends in LA. I've had friends internationally. I am slowly but surely spoon feeding you guys the type of energy that will be on the tour. I have a name for the tour. I will not be sharing because y'all know I get plagiarized often and cited rarely. But just know that when we hit up DC, Preston, don't you just love positive peer pressure? With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please clap virtually because he can't hear it, but he'll be able to feel it. Please clap virtually for my good friend, someone who, funny enough, I have not talked to face-to-face in years, but whenever I look at my old archives from 2014 or 2016, and it's a Sunday brunch, Preston is always in the fucking picture. A part of me is like, Blue, are you Preston cooler than you think? Because why is he in all these brunch pictures from a decade ago? So guys, please welcome my good friend and Summer House Martha's Vineyard alum, Preston motherfucking Mitchum.
One of the best introductions ever.
Friend, I was like, are you a vampire? Why are you in so many of these?
You know what's funny? I actually have distinct memories of some Sunday fun day brunches and house parties.
Yeah, it's always very Or we're outside of Nelly saying, you're racist. Like it's either activism or a turn up or both.
Look, that's the thing. I said, I can give you everything that you need. You want turn up? I'll give you turn up. You want activism? I'll give you that too. It just depends on how you meet me in the moment.
Full range of human emotions. And what's so funny is when I met you, Preston, I was working at the Griot.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I was the only person in DC working at the Griot. So child, I ended up in so many situations with the Obamas simply because there was nobody else. Like I know the flex would be like, oh yeah, I was in the motorcade with Michelle Obama. There wasn't nobody else in DC, child. It was gonna be me, right? No,
listen, you did some firework there. I remember it well.
It was interesting being the lone DC correspondent during Black Camelot. Ooh. I think what happened is the Griot thought it was the beginning of a wave of that. Child, it was a window that was shutting as we spoke.
Baby, listen. And then, I guess there's a couple people now. I'm really good friends with Jaron. And so, like, I see him.
I love
him. Yeah, I see him doing the Lord's work at this point because it couldn't be me.
Shout out to you, Jaron. Shout out to Natasha Alford. I remember when she got onboarded, I was like, she's spectacular.
Yes.
And you know what's so funny about DC, too? I've talked about this a few times in broad strokes. When I got the opportunity to be a correspondent on CNN, I remember it was 2014, and it was the week after the what's his name, Bill Cosby story broke.
Yeah,
people still didn't believe it. You want to talk about fresh on the front lines? I was like, I think he did it.
Right. So. Like, I'm sorry to break it to y'all, but I think.
Yeah, and I'm backstage with Blitzer, and I'm like, y'all, I think he did it. Y'all sure y'all want me to go on and say he did it? And you know, Preston, you have the same issue. And by issue, I mean, it makes you razzle dazzle. Don't put a camera on me and ask me to tell the truth.
Right. I'm like, you sure? Are you positive you wanted to come from me?
I've been diagnosed with autism. I'm gonna just sit behind that. But like, do not do that. And at one point, my mother said, she was like, everyone's like, Blue, it's amazing. My mother's like, you will get shot. You are not allowed to work at CNN.
Listen.
I said, excuse me. She said, I love you. The way that you talk, it was cute one time. They will shoot your ass. Like you are not allowed to work at CNN. For some people, it's like, Blue, why did you never go back? My mama wouldn't let me.
Yeah, right. Like, come on, blame mama.
You know, she said you are not going back on that show the way you be talking, running your mouth. People get shot on the street.
Though, people swear they want the truth, and they don't. People want a very soft version of whatever reality they're living in at the time. What's
been your experience being a pundit? Like, how do you feel when you were having those moments? Because you returned.
It's funny because I always think I start off very professionally, whatever that means, and very like calm. And then it takes one thing that I say that really pisses me off that actually make me just go off. And I'm like,
reverse racism, black on black crime. Where are we?
I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to come out, actually. But but it's been difficult. I mean, like I can't even lie to you. I know we'll get to this later, but like, when I first started off with punditry, I don't know if you know this, it was actually with Fox News.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Did Marshall on Hill do Fox News as well?
You know what?
I feel like he might.
A couple progressives, again, whatever that means, but a couple non-conservatives has. And it's funny because, listen, I've always been pretty team black as fuck and queer as fuck. And so that, but I was like, maybe this is going to be an interesting space. I know I wasn't going to teach people, but, at the time, I really thought sound bites were important. I'm just like, I'm building I'm building my resume, my portfolio, like all of my things I'm doing online. Like it was helpful for me and still has been, frankly, but I've met some awful human beings that way too. And so after a few times and after they asked me to appear with the debate with Candace Owens, I was like, I'm good.
Thank you. What is that line for you about when it feels like rigorous dialogue versus you are setting yourself on fire for ratings?
Honestly, it was because I was on there a few times. And one of the time they had me debating with a black man consistently. And I said, nah, y'all playing me. No. Y'all playing me actually, and even though I still can't stand that black man, like, and I still think he's foolish.
Do I know him? Because the world is small.
Oh, I pray to God you don't know him. he ain't our friend. He never will be. I'm sure.
He was not at brunch. Got it. He's not one of them. Okay.
He ain't doing nothing Sunday Funday related, but I'm sure him and his white wife are having a great time. But nonetheless, I had enough decency to realize they're playing us. And I'm like, he probably didn't care. But I'm like, whether I like you or not, you are still a black man, a black person, and they're clearly doing this for ratings. They're doing it for ratings.
It feels like punching down sometimes. Be honest, Preston. Sometimes when you're arguing with somebody and you realize intellectually.
Yep. My biggest Achilles heel. I know I'm smarter than a lot of people. I'm just gonna say I and it's because I study, I work at it.
You're a lawyer. People used to always tell me, "Blue, you should be a lawyer." I said no, because I already have a problem keeping friends. If we had to argue anymore, it's going to be no. Preston, you actually did it.
Here's the thing. I am like, that's actually one of my biggest challenges. I try to find opportunities for it, because I will say this though, it always depends on how you're coming at me, right? If I feel like you're actually coming at me on some real, like, how do we discuss things, and I may disagree about a fact about something, it is what it is, fine. But I'm like, when I can tell you come at it like I know what I'm talking about and I factually know you're wrong, right? Like I fundamentally know you are wrong. That is the hardest part, because we're no longer actually having an educated debate anymore.
No, we're on the playground, and is it time to fight?
Yeah. And so now I'm like, how do you actually tell somebody that you're wrong without being condescending? And I ain't figured it out. Like I just have not figured it out.
Well, my brunch friends in LA, they all know, hey, if I have a tone, but I also have a point, you're gonna have to tell me. And it's okay.
Right. Because
my brain is stuck on I'm being reasonable.
Yep.
But I'm not thinking about the sensitivities of those who can't keep up.
Right.
And so my friends are allowed to check me like, hey, friend, it was a little bite.
But Blue, I wish, I'm not even just saying this, I've known you clearly for over a decade, right? I just wish people had, to your point, the emotional intelligence to know when they don't know something. And I think the issue is people think because now they have the internet that all of our voices are equal. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Like,
you're not all qualified to give me feedback. I seen the show before. People got mad. Not everybody's qualified to give people who are well versed in something feedback. The same way I wouldn't tell Beyonce how to sing.
Right.
You don't want to be easy on telling me how to do commentary.
That's what's frustrating about it. I really believe that everyone's like, well, I have an opinion too. And I'm like, yeah, but it's literally an opinion.
And we're not the same.
Some of the things we're discussing are fact-based things. They're evidence-based. They're based in research, right?
I'm almost talking about throwing hands because nobody will let me.
Listen, I think enough people have not had their ass whooped. And so I am very team. Some people need to have their hands thrown.
Look, if you are an intelligent person who cannot fight, you might want to take the bass out your voice.
Like, literally, you are talking a little bit too loud for someone who I know can't fight. Relax. Relax.
And mind you, this is not combative. This is survival, right? As Black people, they always put us in these lazy boxes of the street people
Yep.
And the smart people who are whitewashed and fragile.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a street nigga can read? Now what? You stuck.
Right. Like what exactly we do, right? I tell people all the time, like, y'all, I am Black, gay, and from the hood, and I'm an attorney.
You better
like,
know how to fight.
That is a mixture of many things. And I'm like, and the only thing that have kept me from truly going off is that I'm an attorney. That has been like the saving grace. I will never forget when I was in law school. Mind you, I went to an HBCU law school. Right?
Oh, really?
I went to NCCU. And when I tell you, there used to be so many debates, and people used to be like, "You so lucky! I gotta take this bar exam," like, because you only get loud because you know we have to still do character and fitness.
That part. And Gia said, really smart people know what they don't know exactly. Yes. There are 3 levels of consciousness. Yes. There's what you know. Mm-hmm. There's what you don't know, and then the 3rd level. This is where y'all get fucked up. There's what you don't even know that you don't know.
Right. You
didn't even know this gap in perception existed.
Right, that is
a lot of y'all want to fight me in that 3rd ring.
Yeah, yep.
Because that's where cognitive dissonance comes in, yes?
Yes. It's so confusing to me because I'm like, why do I know enough information to know what I don't know about this? Mm-hmm. Baby, I'm not a physician. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to tell you much about science and math, right? I'm going to learn and absorb from the people who do know enough about science and math. Baby, why do you think because you understand like that there's a 2-party system that you understand the ins and outs of the history behind it? Like you don't know those things.
You also don't know that the parties switched places several times. Right. So when you say Republican, but it's from like 1604, it might not be. First of all, did the country even exist? Because our country's 10 minutes old.
Listen.
Like,
one of the youngest countries.
Right. Like we are the stupid cool kids in the cafeteria who like to bully the nerds who are getting A's. And it's so funny because in Finding Superman, that documentary that came out years ago about the education system, they had a study and they were looking at international education levels. They said when it came to actual objective education, America was like 76.
Yep.
When it came to confidence, we were number 1.
Of course. That's actually very scary. That's a scary stat. You are confidently stupid, and that is a problem.
As a country, but look at the president.
As a whole.
Together, collectively. Now, here's what's so interesting is I want to talk about your journey from being a lawyer to be a pundit. That's a very quick one. I understand that easy. Yeah. But because as somebody who started off in academia, then ended up in politics for 10 years until my eye twitched and my doctor said, you're about to have a heart attack. No, seriously. I was medically removed from working in the news. Because the 2016 election almost killed me.
That was a lot.
The 2016 election almost killed me. And I was Airbnb my townhouse in DC. And I had somebody staying there for the entire year from France in the basement who was an agnostic from France who was covering it. She was a Bernie supporter. And she was covering for French news. So imagine I'm doing American news upstairs. We got a French reporter downstairs. My sister who's staying with me is a school teacher, seeing kids on the front lines of DC be fucked over. The eye twitch was inevitable.
I get it.
So when you work in those kind of realms, doing news punditry makes sense if you have a razzle dazzle on the brain.
Right.
And then I somehow ended up in Hollywood because I got cast to host a talk show, child.
Yep.
And then somebody threw a chair backstage, shut down the whole production because that's illegal. And the show never happened. I know very well what it's like to be moved somewhere, go away from what is comfortable, be around a whole cast of people that you bond with. And in my case, after 3 months of bonding, nobody saw the show because of something outside of me.
Right.
So when I saw you on Martha's Vineyard, honey, I said, oh, friend, I hope, okay. This industry is tricky. They'll build you up and then drag you back down. They'll drag you down lower than they found you. That's the gag.
Exactly. That's actually, yes.
So first, let's go in order. How did you get involved in as a Bravo levity? What is it called? Bravo levity?
Bravo levity,
Because they have their own terminology, honey. And I've been watching Bravo since the beginning when Andy still had black hair, so I get it. How did they pull you in? Because so many of my friends, Bridget Kelly, Jason Lee, they've all been on reality. Even Jesse Wu, they've all been on reality TV, and they have scars.
Yep.
How'd you get pulled in? Let's start when it was sweet.
Yeah, I'm actually grateful. You know what? Let me start with this. I'm actually very grateful that the people who have consistently built me up, have been like alums on reality TV. Jesse Wu being one of them.
Yes.
Reached out to me pretty immediately when the show started. And then there were others like who still, I'm still talked to on a daily basis. Dr. Wendy, Candace Taylor Bassett,
Oh, I love
a few
that.
others who they've just consistently poured into me.
You and Dr. Wendy being cool makes all the sense in the world. Dr.
Yeah.
Wendy makes so much sense.
I was literally just texting her earlier today. And so I think part of so how I really got started, it was interesting, right? I fundamentally believed that I was deeper than my education. Like I was just like, I know what people think about DC. A lot of it is true, but
I love DC. 12 years.
Yeah, but there's also an element of DC that is so untapped, that is brilliant and cultural and just full of art and artists. And people who are funny, right? Like I think about, I think about even our Sunday Fun Days, right? I'm like, that literally was a show, right?
It was a lifestyle. Sunday brunch in DC is a lifestyle.
You could just have a reality TV in DC based on Sunday.
Smart blacks getting tipsy,
right? Like
and twerking, and then going on the hill on Monday.
Starting brunch at 1 p.m. and getting home by 2 a.m. every Sunday, like that was a time. And so that's how I was like, okay, this feels like the right thing to do, and I felt like I was, again, emotionally intelligent enough to know myself, and I was grounded enough to know, like, whatever happens on TV, I'm okay. Like I have enough therapy. I go consistently. I have great actual community, not just friends online. Like no shade.
Not just photo ops, pretending to be friendship.
Yeah, but I know who my people are.
Yeah.
And I think had I been younger and got cast, it would have been much more hard. It would have been harder.
I agree 100%. I think people who do reality TV under the age of 30 be weary.
Yeah, right. Right, seriously.
The only reason I love LA is because I came here in my 30s. That's the only reason why I'm thriving here.
Yeah, like it feels great. Like because I was talking about this all weekend because I was with some Potomac women, and that's one of the things we kept talking about consistently is like you just have to know yourself enough. And even when you think you know yourself, sometimes you really don't, because that's a different type of lion's den, right? The Hollywood space, the media space, TV and film is just different. But I'll tell you this, I originally got cast with some of the cast members because we just happened to be on the Vineyard. Quite literally.
Oh, we just found you in your natural habitat.
Yeah, we were on the
blacks in their natural habitat in the Vineyard.
Listen, look, we were on the Vineyard, and Jordan from our show posted a picture of many of us who made the show. And a producer reached out to her. Because that's actually, the dynamic is also shifting too. Yeah. About how casts are formed. Like it's not as much like audition tape like it used to be sometimes, right?
And Bravo, they always do the thing of they tap you in like, oh, this is a friend of so-and-so from last season. She's our new cast member.
Yep. And so they're building based on what already exists a lot of times. And sometimes it's from social media. It's from like, I saw this person in your picture. How cool are y'all? And so that's what happened. We thought it was kind of nonsense when Jordan presented it to us. We were like,
that's nonsense, damn.
Like we were just like, that's not real. This ain't real. But by the time we got back to our respective cities, they kind of were like, hey, this is real. Can we actually talk to y'all and connect y'all to Bravo? And so that's really how it all started. And so from there, I went to like, did a bunch of like meetings essentially. And what I would call like more informal tests with both truly original art production company and also Bravo. But that was months, right? Like people, from that to green light, it's a long time, right? It's a long process. Yeah, and so that's really how it all started for me. And I had to your point, because you know me, I had to really honestly just sit with the universe about this, sit with the creator about this, and be like, does this make sense for whatever trajectory my life is going to be on?
Well, first of all, you should have just called me child. Duh. Yes.
Well,
are you serious? That was. No, I'm happy you talked to God and Jesus and them, but I
should have been on the second call.
Next time, please. I'll make sure you have my new number. Just call me.
Yeah, no problem.
So interesting. The minute I saw the announcement, I was like, well, duh, that makes sense. Like my brain was like, that. This totally is where this was headed because you were getting traction on social media. Yeah. And people don't realize this. Social media doesn't always pay. Right. I always saw the story about how in the month of July, I got like 5 million views on TikTok, and they gave me a check for $1,500.
Right. No.
I live in Los Angeles, California, America. What am I supposed to do? Do you know what you have to do on TikTok to get 5 million views?
No, right.
What am I supposed to do with $1,500?
No, seriously. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to pay my water bill.
I keep my lights on while I go do the show.
Right.
Thank you. How was it? Did they pay you, or you don't have to talk about, because on this show we're radical about talking about money.
Oh, I am very transparent about money.
How much do you feel comfortable talking about it? Because I want my audience to have a reality check about the glamour of that ecosystem.
Oh, I'm always comfortable talking about it. I mean,
I love that.
This is probably one of the things I'm going to say some fun facts too, but I will say, like, they're probably going to hate me, but I'm just going to be honest. The show is over. So
look where you are. The show is over. You have nothing to lose, and now people are talking about they love you and they know where to find you now.
Look, but the reality is, when I was cast for the show, they actually originally cast me for, mind you, we filmed for 2.5 weeks. When I was originally cast, I got a call 2 days before my flight was leaving.
Oh, wow.
This is for season 1. And they said to me, and I quote, just so you know, we're going to have you leave basically on Friday, which would have been like 5 days. And I was like, wait, this entire time you told me I was filming basically the next 2.5 weeks. What changed?
Yeah. And this is 48 hours before you're about to leave.
Correct. Like, my bags were being packed, right? And ironically enough, I had Sunday fun. I was out. So
right. I mean, it was Sunday.
Yeah. So when I saw the phone call, I was like, oh, maybe this is like an exciting call. Like, that we're really, nah. It was very much like, you know, and it's not we're having different people come in and out at different points in time. And I'm like, but I was always one of I said, you know what? I can think this is about a lot of things. I'm clearly the only queer person on cast. Like, my mind at this point is just going because I have no other information to go off of. And I get there. It was the morning of day 3. I get calls from both network and production. And they said, hey, we need you to stay, if you can, the rest of the time filming. I said, why? Why? You got to tell me.
Because the storyline was shifting?
No. Well, it was that at that time they said you actually pick up on cues really well. You film really well.
So they were already typecasting you when they first cut it off, and then they realized that you were
correct. And when I tell you how angry, I know they probably thought that would have made me happy. It actually made me angrier.
No, I would have been pissed.
Because I was like, okay, so after these months of talking to y'all and auditioning and going through all the rigmarole, you still typecast me? Like, you still thought that I was going to present one way? I'm like, I told y'all, I am intellectual, I'm ratchet, I'm fun, I'm a debater. Like, I'm all these things. And I'm like, and it's not just for play. Like, this is me in real life. And I think they were really too afraid of, like, I don't know. They just really thought I had one thing. And I think what it was for them was, like, too intellectual.
Well, here's the thing that's always so sad for me is, and this is something that I think most of my friends have in common, which is why I tend to be drawn to a certain type of person. You are what people are pretending to be. And so I can't even fault them, because there are many people who give that speech. You're one of the few who actually meant it.
You know what? I appreciate that reframe.
Yeah, as somebody who had to cast, so many people will give a speech and only one of them will actually mean it.
You know what? I appreciate that reframe, because it was definitely times, I mean, reality TV is real to a degree. Like, I always tell people, like, when people like fake, I'm like, no, it's certainly edited. And there are certainly portions that you can tell are like, have this conversation now.
They're curated, heavily curated. Yes.
Yeah. I said, they're curated. I said, but there was no script at all.
Oh, no, we can tell, honey.
Right. I was like, so just right.
Some of your castmates were fighting for their lives while you were running circles like, hey.
I said, so just to be clear, I said it wasn't. And I was like, but, I will say one of the best feedback I did get was like, Preston, you usually don't need any cues or prompts because you're just naturally inquisitive. And so I'm like, yeah, and my inquisition is not to be messy. It is very much like, that don't make sense to me. So can we talk about this a little bit more? Right? So, but I think, again, folks like us, that's how our brain operates, whether we like it or not sometimes.
You know what's so funny? As you're talking, I think I've always said this, that one of the compliments I get the most and that I had to learn to stop taking personal and reframe was when I'm having a conversation with someone and it's a courageous conversation. There's a moment where, and this happens with Black people and white people and men.
Yep.
Cis-het men especially, where as we're having a rough conversation and they're realizing they're deep in the rough part, but they're still safe, they'll be like, you're reasonable.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so surprised I'm reasonable?
Right.
Because Black girls with big voices who know their
Right.
value are
Right.
emotional beings who can't be reasonable, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't get your articulate. We all know not to say that to me. But that moment of, oh shit, she's actually being reasonable, and I might have created a boogeyman in my head.
You know what? I get that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting because some of it I'm like, what did I do, or what did you perceive that made you think I was going to be irrational when I entered this discussion?
The Zeus Network.
Yeah.
Well, they think that Black people only have self-esteem when they're being.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is not a slight to the Zeus Network. It's just that the broad strokes of how they paint us. I will say this: there was a moment that I had deja vu with you on the show that made me realize, okay, when I bring the podcast back, I have to have Preston on. And I think I had hit you up a couple of times and just never worked out until today. Yeah. Divine timing. Back during the pandemic, you know how we all have our pandemic friend group or people who we were really cool with during the pandemic, and then when the doors opened, we all went back to regular life, and it was nothing bad, right?
Right.
This is gonna sound like a name drop. I promise y'all, it's not. I just live in LA. It's not a name drop. In 2019, right before the pandemic, I got reacquainted with Lena Waithe. We became really, really cool during the pandemic. Like, she was like my salvation. We were always sending each other like movie recommendations for documentaries, talking about art and film. She's a tourist, so there was always food involved as well. So what side are you?
I'm a Pisces.
I knew it. I thought he has to be a Pisces. And so one time we were talking, and it was right before the pandemic got announced. I think it was like right after Queen and Slim had come out. And she was getting dragged, and I hit her up and I said, hey, I know what this film meant to you, regardless of what Twitter is saying.
Right.
And do you want to talk about it? She did. And I won't say too much because we're outside of the paywall. But we were talking, and at one point, as I'm talking to her, we were talking about trauma responses and how hyper-independence is a trauma response that we clap for in Black women. So there's so many things that we clap for that are like actually trauma responses, and they're normalized, but like they're considered things to be proud of. And she was like, it's so crazy because when I was talking to Daniel Kaluuya about the film, and Daniel Kaluuya is who plays the main character in Queen and Slim, she was like, he always told me about how his dad hated the term Black excellence because he thought that was a trauma response. Right after we have that conversation, Lena then does an interview where she gives that speech. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is so cool, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward about 3 or 4 years later, I go to watch Martha's Vineyard only for you. I'm not even going to lie to you. No. You are the only reason.
When I tell you, I will talk about that too.
And I met your castmates, and 2 of them are really, really lovely. Others need to take my class before we speak.
Yep.
And I'm choosing my words, Frank. I don't want to create a mess for you. And I watched the episode, and then we get to the part where you say, I'm not really a fan of the term Black excellence. And I said, my nigga. You see, I'm going to check to see if we're going to get covered. I want to play the clips because one of the things that we do on this show is I love a good receipt. I am a receipt person. I feel like you might be a receipt as well.
Yes.
And as a human, and by the way, guys, the cheat code is you can't use a receipt on a receipt.
Right.
All I'm going to do is repeat what's in the screenshot. Yeah, I said that. Now what? I heard myself. I liked when I said it. Anything else? So we love receipts on this show. So, okay, I just checked. There's no copyright strike bet. So, guys, I had to distort the Bravo video because of, copyright. So, Gia said very elitist. Yes, Black excellence can be very elitist. So, let's watch these clips because I want you to understand how much Black people, progressive people, queer people, non-xenophobic people, any place those places intersect, there's a level of nuance that is required. Right. And that's why so many of us, without even checking with each other, will say a hot take that we think is just us, and we realize, those of you who have sense, you get it. You get it. All right, let's watch this real quick.
And it made me think about that. Talking. When I was having lunch with Daniel, we just started talking, and I started talking about like Black excellence or like wanting to be excellent or him being excellent. And he goes, my dad always says that Black excellence is a product of Black trauma. And it made me think about that. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm striving to be excellent because I want to justify the space I take up. And I don't know if that's the best thing, but it's real.
I actually really hate
the expression Black excellence. I despise it.
All right.
For me, Black excellence is like my mom, who barely graduated high school, had 3 kids by the age of 23, who never went to college and just was able to survive. I think our version of Black excellence is rooted in like what white people consider as successful, not contrarian for contrarian's sake. I just want us to think differently about who we are as people.
Cheers to that. Yeah, cheers to that.
Now, Preston, that was beautifully stated. And me, the person in me who was working in production way before I ever got in front of the camera, what I did not like was they put in this.
I already know what you're about to go ahead. Mm-hmm.
One of the things I learned when I was starting my production company in DC was they had us in a director's room with people who were working on House of Cards. And one of the people who was working on that show had a video clip. He said, I'm going to play this video clip with 3 different audios. Same video clip. Yep. First time, because of the audio, it was funny. Second time, because of the audio, now we're like, do they want to fuck? Is this romantic? What's going on? Third time, it felt like a horror film. Yep. Nothing changed but the music.
Yep.
For you to make a point that is so dear to my heart and to use your platform so beautifully to expound on why Black excellence is a trauma response, and they put some Medea-ass church Black accordion organ music as if you were just a mammy-ass gay who didn't know how to have a good time and had to be on a fucking planet like Martin Luther Rustin.
Right.
I was like, why you know what? So I was so angry with the music. You see, I cut out the part, right? You guys will notice.
Yeah, and I appreciate. You know what? Wow, it's wild to me because when I tell you, I got so many comments about this on Twitter, and majority of them were discussing how angry they were at the music.
The music is disgusting.
Yeah, they were livid. And in some ways, I think it actually confused the audience about me at first because initially, some people were like, I thought you were going to be too preachy. And then I realized you were actually my favorite character throughout the season.
They played church organ music. They wanted you to think he was going to be preachy.
And I said, I was like, see, this is what's frustrating because I'm like, as producers, you drew the conclusion for the audience about me. Like, I never actually was preaching to people. In fact, the reality is, and again, they only cut what they can, right? You can only show so much on TV. But the reality is, the majority of people after that agreed with me on cast. Like, it wasn't even like, but if you look at some of the faces, it looked like, I'm confused. Here he goes. No, the majority of the cast were like, you know what, Preston, never thought about it that way. I agree with you. Let's take a shot, right? That's how we concluded that moment. It was actually a good moment afterward. So it was very intentional. And so when I asked, I blatantly asked production. I said, why'd y'all do this? And they said, well, sometimes you have to soften it if it feels deep.
Soften it with racial undertones? Is that how you soften?
Yeah. And I said to them, actually, I think you're grossly miscalculating your audience.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are making it seem like they're either stupid and that they don't get it, or that the stereotypes that many are saying about us is holding true. And I don't believe that about my folks. I'm sorry, I don't.
Did you watch Love Island this season?
Did I watch what?
Love Island?
I did. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel as someone who's been on the other side of the screen to watch the allegations about Ace overly producing as a cast member? Did you agree with that observation?
Yes.
I mean, he admitted to being an op afterwards.
Yeah.
His jealousy got the best of him. But I was like, does he know he doesn't work in the production team? It was so evident.
Evident, yeah. Yeah.
Was there anybody in your ranks who you thought was self-producing like Ace?
Honestly, only one person. Only one person.
Can we do charades? You want to?
You know what? I think
it's a safe space.
I just think people felt really pity for her season.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Child, that was obvious. Yes.
Yeah. I always want to be mindful because I'm like, listen, I don't hate that lady. I do think, from my personal opinion, and for a lot of that cast, I think a lot of us just stopped being as warm because it felt fake and it felt like someone very different than who we knew prior to the show. And so, people often ask me, they're like, I wish y'all were as close. And I'm like, I'm okay, baby. I received that. And I'm glad that you're.
Don't ever wish that I'm less safe.
I said, but I promise you, I'm good where our relationship is. And the reality is, a lot of it is just simply because it just didn't feel genuine anymore. And I'm okay with how things are perceived so long as I know the truth.
Exactly.
Like again, that's part of me knowing who I am. Like, and I'm not about to fight the edit. I'm not about to fight whatever you perceived as something. Just know that if a lot of people on a show feel the same way about a person, I promise you, it's the person. And that's
a lot of times though, we talk about the edit. And I think for me as an EQ coach, one of the things that always is a wins point for me is that I think it's impossible to do anything for any long period of time and not learn something about yourself.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to ask you to answer a question that many people on reality TV can't answer.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about yourself that, watching yourself objectively, editor and all, you felt like the need to learn from? Whether it was to do more of, do less of, tweak. What was there any tweaks that were made as a result of seeing yourself removed like that?
Honestly, nothing comes to mind right now. I mean, no one. I feel like my statement is a little biased and probably unfair, right? And I think I say that because I was relatively unscathed.
You were loved,
right? So I think part of that.
But I also mean behind the scenes too, not just on camera. I mean, like,
you know what? Yeah. So
because sometimes when your hands are clean, the lesson is, oh, I have to handle you different. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, I don't even know how. I wish after a while that I would have spoken up more to some people behind the scenes in terms of like production, who I felt like were actually being unfair to certain cast members in terms of their portrayal. Like I always will talk about this. I'm like, I'm sorry. And I mean, this is my girl and people felt very hot or cold about her, but the way they actually portrayed Jordan it actually angered me because that's just fundamentally not true. It was just not accurate.
She came off very,
it was just not accurate. And they know that was true. She had to be someone's villain after a while. And it was only because Jordan is a very like a matter-of-fact person. So like if you are like, we want y'all to work out y'all friendship on screen, and she's like, we're not friends, so there's something to work out. Like what?
Yeah, we're good.
What are we working out? And I think, and this is just my opinion, I believe that some producers did not like it because it was hard for them to make her fake a storyline.
Like Olandria and Shelly, I think a lot of people had the same feedback about them on Love Island, that them being more stoic and self-possessed than the Black woman archetype on the show. Like you have to have a little bit of this, right? Which is fine. It's part of our culture. But we don't all have that, right? The whole we got a monolith thing. I think Black women who are self-possessed, I think queer people who are self-possessed scare the norm.
I think so too.
You're supposed to tap dance. If you're on Bravo, you're supposed to be Preston. You were supposed to be a purse, right?
Right,
you know,
right.
You like accessories on Bravo, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, actually, I have some shit to say. I have some shit to say. Yeah. You know what? I think, so that's one person. I also wish people gave, and by people, I also mean mostly behind the scenes. I wish they gave way more grace to Summer. Summer had a really challenging real life second season. I mean, like from things with her grandmother and her vision to her just finding out the father who she thought was her father was not. I mean, she explained some of this.
She was devastated. It was clear that she was devastated.
Right. And I really deeply felt like people were just so cruel to her in ways that I was like, this is dangerous, actually, because I know we're filming for a show, but like y'all aren't going to give a damn about her unfortunately, if she self-harms or like if something like you won't provide any resources, you will just let her go. And I think that is, and I try to do as much as I could in that moment, to be fair, but looking back, I do wonder if there was more that I could have done or said specifically. But I was very heartbroken for her. And so, I mean, there was even a moment, right, when she made a comment behind my back about me. It wasn't even that bad in my opinion, but nonetheless, she made a comment about me and I found out about it. Actually, the messy girl, who was not getting paid for anything, but was just someone's partner. She brought the information.
I don't like that lady, so I'm gonna just refrain from saying anything. I don't like that lady.
She brought the information to me, and I was like, okay, like why? Basically, why? Like, what are you doing? And
what's the intention?
But I'll tell you, producers were literally like, it was kind of to the effect of like, you're not upset with her. I'm like, no, I'm not upset with Summer. Like, no, I'm not. But mind you, again, I'm a very emotionally intelligent person. So I knew Summer was going through a lot. So after that, I went to Summer and I said, hey, this is what I heard you say. How did that come up for you? Is there something I can do differently in this moment? And I was like, because I feel like you're going through a lot, and just know as a friend, I'm not going anywhere.
You were so compassionate. And that's one thing I will say too, is that a lot of people, me and Preston are very pro-Black.
Yep.
Very. Use the word radical. I'm just gonna say we're very pro-Black. If you got a problem with niggas, you got a problem with me, right? Yeah, right. Even if you was a nigga too. Right? So there was once a leak where Facebook had a backdoor leak where people in the news were able to see how they categorize this for the algorithm. It only happened for like a day. I talk about this often. I clicked on that link so fucking fast, child. They had me as liberal, radical, pro-Black. I was like, what am I something? The fuck? Like, to DC, I live in a townhouse in Northwest. What the fuck? But then you would have thought that I was Angela Davis fist in the air. I was dead flattered. But it was a lot how easy it is to be seen as a radical Black person, right?
Yes.
Do you sometimes fear for how Black people are cannibalized on reality television, particularly brown skin or darker skinned Black people? Because I will say this, even though my audience doesn't let me call myself dark skinned, I'm very clearly dark skinned, guys. Okay. As a dark skinned Black woman, I can say that there have been people in my life who said to me, yo, you don't act dark skinned. Which is wild. And I said, what does that mean? The last time somebody said to me, I said, what does that mean? He said, you're just very light. And I remember thinking, so you associate dark skin with heaviness.
Yeah.
Me being giddy and joy-filled while still being educated is fucking with you because I should look like Lisa Bo. Interesting, right? And so I think that when you are a dark and racially non-ambiguous Black person, and let's be honest, we're going to talk about our own community. The gangs are shallow because they have to be, right? Marginalized groups have to be extra shallow because we need NASA to know that I might be poor, but I have iron in my genes. Right? I might be gay, but I'm trade, honey. You can't even tell, right? Like it's all this like anti-fem shit. And it's still misogyny directed at men. Yes, guys, misogyny can be directed at men. It's called homophobia.
Yep.
How did it fear? Interesting we use words. How did it feel being a queer Black man in that space next to the versions of Blackness that they're more comfortable with, but you're the fun one?
Right. You know what's funny about interesting about this is that, the person on the show who was probably my biggest Achilles heel was Bria. And
really?
it was hard for me because I'm very compassionate, to your point, right?
Very compassionate, yeah.
And Bria is a dark-skinned Black woman.
Yeah.
And I used to have to be like, oh my God, I hate that actually you frustrate me the most in this moment because I really just want to protect you.
But you're still a target.
Yeah, and
I'm like you right now, but you're a target.
Yeah, it's like I recognize that the world naturally sees you a certain way. Yeah. And so I had to really question if I was like, okay, am I seeing you this way for these? Like, why am I? But I'm like, no, it's actually because you annoy me. But nonetheless, it was hard for me because I'm like, oh my goodness.
But do you wince though? Be honest, because this is something I've had to confront myself. Do you wince when the person who you want to protect against the stereotype is actually acted like?
Yeah,
girl,
I was like,
not you being the thing that I was about to give a speech about you not being. This is awkward.
Yeah, but I said, I ain't gonna go far. I ain't gonna let you talk. I ain't gonna let nobody say something about your skin. Like, nah, that is a bridge too far. I said, but you're
being the thing.
You're kind of right. But you know what? But funny enough, she's someone who I always do wish well because I just recognize our personalities are different, our ages. We have a 10-year gap in our age too. So all that to say,
so she's young.
Okay. More directly about you. That was just a moment in hindsight because I said
that was a great detour actually to the Bria. That speaks to what happens when the dark-skinned person really is the problem. Now you're like, damn it, out of speech.
Like, well, I ain't gonna touch that essay, but somebody can write it. But you know what? It was hard. Because I never at least wanted to be like, oh, well.
It was Beyonce. Yeah, it's awkward when the biggest bitch in the room or the darkest person in the room is still Beyonce.
Yeah.
How are you gonna deal with this? I'm still lit. Now what?
Yeah. No.
I think I saw you with a Speedo friend. I think at some point you said, "Fuck y'all, I'm about to have me a good time."
When I tell you, I love myself so much, and I think part of it is that it's like, I'm sorry, you're not gonna tell me nothing about myself. Like, I came here to have a good time, and that's it.
Y'all gonna get this beast body.
But it's just interesting to me though. I'm not even joking. Like, even the idea of like me being Black and gay, and I will always try to never scapegoat or denigrate people who came before me who were on Bravo, who weren't like cast members, but they at least had the chance, right? So like Derek J's, Miss Lawrence's, Dwight's, etc., who I think were looked at more, unfortunately, like the accessories and handbags to their.
It was comfortable. It was a comfortable Trojan horse. They sashayed so you could walk in like, yeah.
Listen, so I literally ran into Miss Lawrence at the House of Chanel ball in August or last month in Atlanta, and that was my first time I was ever able to just tell him thank you, because I'm just like, listen, I'm like, I don't know if you ever watched the show that I'm on. I don't know if you ever will. And I said, but just know that I would have never got this opportunity as a full-time cast member without you being able to be on a show on Bravo.
That's beautiful and powerful. What was the response? Because I would have started crying on the spot.
He really appreciated it. I don't know how much he hears that, honestly.
Well, I don't think people give queer men who fit a certain. I honestly think the anti-femme thing and queerness is such a thing that I always want to highlight too. It's almost like your proximity. It's almost like colorism. Your proximity to masculinity affords you more respect with not just straight people, but other gay people. And it's so interesting. Are you a Nicole and Alex stan?
Oh my God, yes.
I want to point out people who are like, why are all these pro-Black, radical, talking ass, intellectual Negroes caping for this white man? Pause. I'm emotionally intelligent before I am any of the other things that you want to add to me. And any place where a Black woman is safe and being treated properly, I am there.
I was literally going to say my version of pro-Blackness necessitates that I have to first care about how Black women are treated.
Thank you.
So like,
if a Black man is mistreating you, I'm not doing misogynoir with y'all.
Well, it's weird, right? Because it's like, so my version of pro-Blackness should just mean that she should be with any Black man? No.
Even if he treats her bad and plays in her face?
No. Like, and they look good together. Like, it just is what it is.
The amount of times I flicked my nipple and made the Prince noise, they make my eyes roll back in my head. It's actually, as someone who's a little shallow and likes pretty shit, we both are a little shallow and like pretty shit. Let's be honest. No, because some of the things they say about bougie Blacks are true, and we have to call ourselves out.
Oh yeah, when I tell you, I also don't run away from it anymore. I'm like, yes, I will go to omakase once a month. Sure will.
I heard a caviar was a scat last night and said, Blue, you have to pay bills. Why are you heating up Bellinis at 3 a.m.? This is irresponsible in this economy. Tabitha told you to go back to work. Now, I'm bringing up Nicole and Alex because I want shit to be a little sexy. Because, we pro-sex over here, Fran.
Yes.
Now that I know you, Nicole and Alex, I know you'll enjoy this. I did a little edit. I've never done a Nicole and Alex edit, but I was like, Preston's coming on. It's New York Fashion Week has just passed.
Yes.
We like seeing people put that shit on. You saw Preston with the hat and the matching scarf.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on, there's a whole fit happening. Okay, get into it. I almost want to make you stand up and do a twerk. Like, I can smell you through the screen, friend. I know you smell good. I know.
Oh, baby, it's my own scent actually from Old Factory.
Smell delicious. Okay, so. Part of this is we have to understand that Black liberation also has to equate Black joy. It can't just be sweet, low, swing chariot. I'm not doing that with y'all.
Not follow the drinking gourd.
Yeah, I'm not doing that with y'all. So Black joy means, okay, Olandria, I have been waiting to say this, and I almost said it 2 months ago, but people keep on dragging me for early takes and then stealing them.
Oh, see.
So I intentionally waited. 2 months ago, I texted one of my friends, Olandria and Nick are about to pull a Bowie and Iman. I clocked this 2 months ago and have not said it on camera until you were here. Thank you for the outfit. This is the perfect time. And so she hit me up last night. She was like, Blue, you're right. The Bowie and Iman thing, I completely see it now. So let's see a quick video. For those of you who are caught behind, don't worry, I got you. We love receipts, right? We love receipts. This is a copyright safe edit that I made of the time that Nicole and Alex had in whatchamacallit, New York Fashion Week. I also am gonna want to hear Preston's thoughts around Nicole and Alex as a singular unit, and also the hate train. Because that does feed back into you, Preston, because you know your first season and your second season felt a little different. Let's watch the clip.
If you see me, you tryna see what's up. He wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have a stud. Bitch looking bad, got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist, fucking hold it up. When I have a key, let me pull up. Quarantine fire, and they fast as fuck. I'm looking good when I'm having out that truck.
Look at them.
Niggas that they get them bucks. Being free, but we run dirty. Flying with your boo, yeah, that's my dirty. My sister in the backseat with a 30. Niggas tryna shoot back, so I step and carry. Fuck a bitch, niggas show no mercy. Do the pussy bitch dirty. She
So
like,
proud.
you hurt me.
Amazing, sweetie.
So come down off the yerky. When you give me, put that dick all on my backside.
She's not
I'm a
really
little
real.
bitch, sitting courtside. I show
Like,
pussy
it don't
all
make
day.
no
It makes me angry. Like, what are you doing? Why do you look so good?
Well, somebody better guess, Jack Carson.
Bitch looking bad, got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist, fucking hold it up. When I have a key, let me pull up. Quarantine fire, and they fast as fuck. I'm
Hold on, let me get this. Together, yeah. Yeah, right here. Yes.
Yes. See,
Yes, y'all.
she is the moment.
I hope, I want to do the wedding pictures, you heard? That ass. Yo, I love them, man.
Andrea,
She's a
can we
literal
get
Barbie
some
doll.
pictures, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
You look fabulous.
If you see me, you see my glow. This week, I am partnering with Vaseline for New York Fashion
money,
Week
sis.
for one of my best beauty kept secrets. What's not even a secret anymore. We all know I'll be shining. No, I'm wearing my Vaseline. Get the legs.
A dark-skinned black woman at Fashion Week doing a Vaseline ad.
Listen.
It's the intersectionality.
You see this luxurious texture? You know I love my vanilla cocoa
I
smell.
just stunning.
You want to achieve a glow like this? You know what to do.
I'm sorry, but this man wants nothing to do with nobody from Love Island. Like, he would be very happy if he never had to deal with these people again. Y'all see this fake ass smile? This is the fakest smile, the most PR smile I've ever seen Nick have, okay? This man hasn't been this serious around these people since the fucking reunion.
Not only was Nick forced to take this photo with Ace last night during the New York City Fashion Week, but he also looked unhappy taking pictures with Pepe and Brian. And you guys, this may be messier than we all think. If you didn't know, a lot of the Love Island cast members are in New York City this week for the New York Fashion Week. And Nick and Alondria have been showing out, and we've been getting a ton of content of them together.
That's Serena
But
from
we
Love
also are
Island.
getting content of Ace and Nick, and this has been leaving a ton of fans shocked because if you guys don't remember, Ace recently went on a podcast and called out Nick and Alondria for being in a fake
We're about to get into
relationship.
that.
But honestly, as the days go on, it seems like that isn't true. That's why fans were surprised to see this photo of them together, but no one's mentioning the fact that there was another person in the photo, so it was more than likely just this person wanting a picture with the both of them. But then we got this shocking video of Brian and Pepe trying to get a photo with Nick, and Nick does not seem too happy about it.
No motherfucker talking about, see, I'm fucking beating their ass. Pay no more.
Nick has clearly been invited to several barbecues before
Look.
Alondria. His mother knew that she might have biracial grandbabies. It's very clear that his family was a little too ready. Like they were like, where is this going?
They a little comfortable.
He's a YN from Florida. The part of Florida he's from, I've been told, is where Kodak Black and them be.
Ah, okay. Yeah, he's
So Nick's
very,
family is Kodak Black. Big Belgium is Kodak Black adjacent.
yeah, he's very comfortable.
I'm not doing a Glenn Close and Deliverance thing because I still think Tyler Perry.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not doing a Glenn Close with the asymmetrical
Oh
bob
my
thing.
god. Oh
But
my god.
And there are some people who very sincerely enjoy and appreciate without appropriating.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he always centers her.
Yeah, he does. He does not try to get in front. He is absolutely going to be on the side.
He has no idea of competing with his woman.
No.
So how do we feel about the fact that Ace intentionally tried to undermine and destiny swap with Nicole and has now become a punchline to his own joke? Have you ever been in a space where you felt like you finding love specifically threaten people in your ecosystem? Because I recognize people around me get weird when I'm with a fine nigga because they're all fine. Because it's like, how dare you make me uncomfortable in all these other places and have somebody love on you?
Yeah. Oh, I am grateful that my answer to that is no. Not directly. Like sometimes it's like a butter knife. You don't even know. Right. Like,
I love that analogy. Sometimes I love that.
You don't even know sometimes. But I will say that like it hasn't felt like that for me yet.
Yeah.
And so I really hope not. But to Gia's point, yeah, I think Nick appreciates her. Like, I think it's genuine. Like, I'm not trying to sell you to the highest bidder. I'm not trying to like overtake you or your following and all the brand deals you're clearly getting. I mean, let's be clear. There's a lane for Nick too. There's a fundamental.
He's already an established model.
Right. Like, so yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think at this point they're great. They are great together. Olandria clearly up. I think the difference I see is Olandria has like a star power. Like she's
an alien. She's not of this world.
Everyone doesn't have it. Like, and I mean, like from her look, from the way she communicates, from how like even young but grounded she feels at the same time to like not accept a lot of BS. Like I have not appreciated a reality star like honestly like her like in a while.
I thought I was jaded until Nicole Andrew because so many of my friends are reality stars and I live in LA. It all feels kind of numb for me. Yeah. I'm shocked to feel anything.
You know what? That's a good point. Though. I mean, like because you're surrounded around them, right? And so
for her to have this book on us, I'm like, oh, not you making me feel things, bitch. And people clown her. Let's talk about them clowning her because I wanted you here for this part. When she said Nick and her had an interview that I posted on here, where the interviewer, beautiful interview from the New York Times, asked, "Why do you think people have a reaction to Nicole Andrew?" She said, "I think it's healing." The Hoodistans and the anti-Olandria blacks all got together and said, girl, who the fuck do you think you are that you being under master's thumb is healing us? And I said, y'all did not hear what she said. Watching a black woman be loved properly and unapologetically by a man who is not predatory or taking from her is actually rare and healing.
She also didn't say black women go get your white men, right? Like
he had to drag her. Like she didn't want him at first because of her loyalty to blackness.
Right. But you know what? Earlier we talked about trauma responses. And the reality is, I think people's anger at that statement is their own trauma response.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, right.
How dare you know your value?
Right, because I'm like, she didn't say anything wrong, insulting, or offensive. And so, and frankly, the question was, why do you think people resonate like with y'all? Like that is a valid question. And it's also a valid response. Like I think people feel very jaded, I think, based on their own relationships or lack thereof. And so, yes, like it is beautiful to see. Like it is a very beautiful thing to witness with them. I mean, and Ace, I think frustrated me so much, right? Because I know he frustrated me so much in that interview because I was like, if you and Olandria are actually friends, like if you actually, because yeah, like let's be clear, there's a lot people get mad about when you are friends and you do shows together and you do interviews and sometimes you say something that they don't like. Like that's kind of par for the course sometimes, to be honest. Like they asked me my opinion, I gave my opinion. I also think if you are genuinely friends in that way, like, did you tell her first? Did you say you think it's fake, or are you just saying that to get a reaction, or because you're bitter or you're mad at Nick? Like, it was so uncalled for, and I didn't get it. And actually, if they are scamming, baby, sign me up because.
What made him think that was? And we don't care. Somebody in here said, "What made Blue denounce Jesus and become Buddhist?" Oh, honey, Buddhists don't need you to denounce anything. That's why I'm Buddhist. Right. Let you believe in Christ. Yeah, you guys, the Christian thing about how you have to rep one set like you in a gang, that doesn't happen with Buddhism. So
Right.
my middle name is Emmanuel. So my mother, so my government name is Maria Emanuela, which means Mary Jesus. My name is Mary Jesus Telusma. So just be clear, I didn't denounce Christ. It's Christians that I denounce. I denounced y'all, not Christ. I do want to be honest though. The Ace thing, we have given Ace so much grace despite the fact that he did something that could have potentially been dangerous.
Yeah.
He threw a bomb, and luckily the community who loved Landry specifically made sure it didn't go off.
Yeah.
Just because he failed at the attempt and is getting the consequences of his actions, please don't think that we're not showing him grace, because I don't think dragging Ace is just by simply saying you did some fucked up shit and we don't fuck with it.
Exactly.
But I do think there's two things at play. Number one, misogynoir. There are people who are pro-Black in the sense that Blackness means masculine. And Black women are only there to serve Black men. And so for them, it's unnatural for us to speak ill of a Black man in defense of a Black woman. Some of y'all need to talk to the lady about that. Make an appointment. Second thing is, I recognize if you are a Black person and you are racially non-ambiguous, people like knowing your value, but they don't like it when you know your value.
Exactly.
They don't like it when you're in on the joke. We know Alandra's amazing. Y'all only got mad when she knew she was amazing.
Yes, yeah. Actually, so I don't know if you got a chance to read an article I wrote for Essence a few weeks ago, but it was about the state of Black reality TV.
You share the title so people can look it up. My audience loves to Google things.
Oh, yeah. So, wait, hold on. Wait.
And shout out to all 800 of you in here. All 800 of you, when you hear this article, go Google it right afterwards.
Look, let me look at it real quick so I can get a full title.
And his name is spelled correctly. Preston Mitchum. Look him up.
Look, so it's for Essence, and it's, the title is "We Built a Culture, but Where's the Investment? The State of Black Reality TV." And so in it, I talk a lot about.
The people in here have read the article.
Yeah. So so I talk a lot about like just that generally. Like a lot of it was about just race, specifically Blackness and reality TV, and it wasn't my way of like critiquing cast members, even though I do think, I mean, sometimes we have a role to play and we do it. But it
we have bills to pay and we need to pass the sets, yeah.
But it was really like a plea to networks and execs to specifically call out how they stereotype and create caricatures out of Black folks on TV. And we have built the entire landscape. Not that we started it per se, right? But that reality TV is popularized because of Black people, but specifically Black women.
Absolutely.
And when you're no longer useful to them, you're discarded. And so, meanwhile, and there's actual examples of like, for Bravo specifically, where there's been like blatant racist abusers, homophobes, transphobes, and who are fired from one show, then get a spinoff for another show, right? Those examples happen from Vanderpump Rules to The Valley, right? Like quite literally, the lead star was accused of racism by his cast members, have old tweets that are transphobic and homophobic, got fired and then got rehired, right? And so it's like, and I'm like, I am not pretending that Black people don't do things that I feel are Black cast members, not mine, but on reality TV can do things or won't say things that are sexist. Like I think Dr. Heavenly makes homophobic.
Oh, she's probably problematic. She's the Cardi B of that franchise.
Right. And so I'm just like, it's harder for people like her to get a pass than it is for than white reality TV stars, right? And so
like Ramona, who is like a elected, proud, lifelong Trumper.
Right. I'm like that's something too, right? It's like people got mad at my homegirl, Ebony K. Williams, who was
love Ebony K. Williams.
Right. Who was absolutely correct. Right. And because she called it out and people were like, oh, she was making it too racial. I'm like, y'all need to know who you're casting. That is Ebony. Ebony is a very intelligent person.
That's Squire, honey.
Right. Who speaks about those things often.
But here's the thing about Ebony, though. I think Ebony is what they were trying to do to you because Ebony and I became friendly when she came on Hollywood Unlocked. She's the one who told me to freeze my eggs. And she ended up having a beautiful baby herself, so I should have listened. But Ebony is one of those people where when we would speak, she immediately wants to pour into you and make sure that you're good.
She does.
She's very generous. And the coldness with which, hold on, my mama's calling. Mommy, I'll call you back.
Oh, yeah.
The coldness from which they made her seem like a stiff and dusty, like just and I'm just like, she's juicy and beautiful and fun. Y'all seek the life out of her. I think she's the reason why when they played the organ music with you, I immediately saw red.
Well, so she also was one of the ones immediately who contacted me. And to be fair, it was after the first episode. And I will never forget, because she was like, I see so many beautiful and great things in you. You're gonna go far.
Oh, that sounds like Ebony.
Don't let them play you like that. And so I really appreciated it. Like I had so many folks look out for me, and I'm not saying they didn't for other people, but even I think my cast members recognized that there was a difference about how even
what you represented was important for the culture as a whole.
Yeah. And I'm
hear that, Preston. How does it feel? How does it feel to hear that?
I'm grateful, and I don't mean that on some cliche shit. I mean, like, I have gone through a lot in my life. A lot of it has been shared, a lot has not been shared. And so for me to still honestly wake up and know I am the shit, know that I'm loved, know that I have community.
Yeah.
I turned 40 in a few months. Like, and
welcome to the dog side. It gets sexy over here.
Listen, it feels that way.
I wish they had told me. I would have turned 40 sooner.
But you know, there were many moments in time I didn't think I was gonna make that, right? Or 30 for that matter. And so it's never a woe is me moment. It is just a realization of my life and my life's journey. And so like, I am grateful that people see me and like the real me, not this like put on version, because that was my one qualification for myself. If I was going to be on TV, is I'm like, listen, I can't give you everything, right? This is impossible because things are naturally curated. But I'm like, every version of myself you'll get, whether you like it or not. I promise it was still me, including the parts you may not have liked.
I did that shit. I always say, I tell the story the way it happened. You decide who you like.
Right.
Me included.
I'm like, I am gonna always. So the comment I would always give, even though I was still beloved second season, is people would just be like, "You seemed different first season to second season." I said,
"What did change?" Because when Bridget came on the show, she said that her first season was icky, and at the time she was signed to Rock Nation, and Beyonce pulled her aside at the Rock Nation brunch and said, "You have to go back and redeem yourself."
Yeah.
Beyonce listened to your eyes and said, "You have to go back." But you had a great first season. So what mindset were you going into second season? Were you excited to go back because you had a great first season? Or were you like, I didn't like how it moved?
It was, good question. So first season was also harder for me, for all of us, I imagine, because we know.
The unknown? Is that why it was harder? Was it because of the unknown?
Yeah, because of the unknown. So, but transparently though, first season, I was working. Like I had a full-time job and I was still working. So there was a lot of stuff I couldn't really engage in as much as I would have.
Wait, what was the money like for real? I think we skipped over that.
Oh, we did skip that part, child. We were making season 1, $3,500 an episode, and season 2, $4,000 an episode. Like, and part of what I talk about, even in the article, well, I don't talk about it enough.
That's a working class creative. It's not pennies. It's also not.
It's also in the grand scheme of things, nothing. Like,
how many episodes did you guys do that season?
First season 8, second season 9. But peep this, right?
Working class. Okay, that's good.
But if you had an attorney who'd been trying to negotiate your contract, it was like they were already taking a lot of that anyway.
Absolutely.
And so it was, so it's helpful, right? I mean, it's helpful weekend money, but it's still like you're not about to do a lot with this amount particularly.
With the net, for those of you who are from middle America who think that 25, 30K is a lot, yes, and by the time that taxes and your lawyers get you up, it's not what you think.
Exactly. And so after a while, it really was. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend that it wasn't helpful. That is helpful. And you're paying extra bills, etc. And it's still, we have to still go through a lot for that, right? So I think that's all of it too. Like, you still need to do interviews that you're not getting paid for. You're still traveling a lot of places, right? You still, even when you do appearances, you don't want to look messy, so you want to look nice. So a lot of times we're buying, like, getting things from designers or stylists or like help. So it still comes out expensive ultimately. And people pretend they wouldn't do that. You kind of got to. That's like the name of the game. And if you want to be on reality TV for a while, that's just, you got to build a team, right? And so that was just a part of it too. So our money, it was like, it was here, then it was gone, right? Like, that's just what it was.
What made you say yes?
Yeah, well, and then there are other opportunities. Like BravoCon does pay well, so like so there were opportunities there. Like I was able to go to BravoCon, thankfully. But season 1, season 2. So I was working. Like I was still the director of government affairs for the Trevor Project. So I was still doing a bunch of work. I did end up taking off like the second week because it was like, okay, I got to focus on this. But all that to say, I don't think I really got a chance to fully engage as much as I really, really, really wanted to. Had a good time, and maybe that was for the better because, it was a great season. But it was still like there was a lot of my story that was not shared, and it felt unfair to me even. The second season was interesting because at that point, there was a lot that happened with me specifically from when we were leading up to film. Friendship started shifting, and so you're bringing
what way, friend?
Like 2 of the people who I was friends with coming in, and we just were no longer becoming friends. I mean, ultimately it was the married couple, where I think people kind of can observe that.
And they were very cringe. They were incredibly cringe. I'll say that for you.
Yeah, and it was hard because I was getting, some not so kind messages because people were asking me questions in interviews, and I think they always look for me to answer some tough questions because I was kind of seen as what they would say as the audience, right? They said that I usually was the person who expressed what the audience was feeling. Yeah. And so they were always coming to me. I would always get the most correct. I would always get the most questions in that way. And I think it led to some jealousy. I'm just speaking my truth. I think it led to some jealousy. I think it led to some, who do you think you are? When I was just being myself, like I was honestly just answering questions that were asked of me. And I wanted to be honest, like I didn't think they represented themselves well. That's just my truth. And there were just moments where honestly, I'll just name it. They called production on me. And I think at that point,
are you serious?
Yeah. And I think at that point I had decided that I could no longer be friends. Because I'm like, if you consider me a friend, if you genuinely consider me a friend, there has to be conversations we can have.
And don't fuck with my money and my livelihood.
That's the only reason why you would ever call production on anybody.
That's the fuck with your money.
And at that point, I was like, I can't see myself anymore. And I want to be clear, right? Like we don't communicate. I wish them the very best, like genuinely from my heart, wish them the very best. But that was a moment that caused so much distrust that I just was like, I can't do it. And I want to be real. I'm a real ass nigga. Like I hate to, but I am real. And like, you don't have to love it all the time, but I'm never going to lie to you or about you.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that. And I said, you know what? So again, but there's only so much I can say, because if I would have said this while we were filming, I would have been violating NDA. Right. So when people were confused, like what happened, I'm like, there's so much I can't share. I literally legally can't share. And so I think when you can't share certain things legally, it may not, you look how you look, but it's like, I just had to let it be what it was going to be with that relationship.
Did you ever feel bad though? Because I do remember a moment where I did wince, where I was like, oh, okay, you guys need to pull it back. I always say it's not, and we had a whole talk about this on the last live, where I don't care. People will say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I actually don't care about how you say it. I mean, people have tones accidentally. I always care about why you said it. Right? Like, intention to me is actually the core, the nucleus of why I care. Because I know a lot of stoic sociopaths who say things lovely and they're still horrible people. So even the how doesn't impress me. It's the why. Right. I never once questioned your why. And, comma, watching a pregnant woman without her partner there, crying out for help, and the coldness that comes from enacting a boundary for safety, it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
It was, even though what you guys were doing to her was valid, it was still incredibly painful to watch her on an island while pregnant, crying out for friendship.
I also don't know
how
how
did
much.
how did you watch that? Because to me, it's one of the things where I saw last season. I think she deserves this. It's still hard to watch this.
Yeah, I don't. I think that. So when I said earlier around, like, I think it became easy to feel bad. I think that's
Yeah.
just kind of what it was. I also just don't know if I believe that was really that true. How in that way?
Oh,
I like
she might deserve
even
an Emmy. Okay.
yeah, people. We always were like, how can we support you? What do you need? Your husband is away. Like even me who was not communicating said, hey, specifically said, hey, I know we're not in a good space, but your husband is still my line brother, and I will be there as much as you need me. Let me know, right?
Oh, wow.
Now, again, whether that felt from a good place from her is up for her to say, right? But I'm also not going to say something I don't mean. Right. And so, like, I'm fundamentally, here's the thing, too. My background is in reproductive justice. Right. So, like, I am not going to be like, oh, pregnant person, discard. That's just not my moral compass.
Yeah.
And so, but we always tried our hardest to be as there as we could. So I think in many ways, that's one of the things that I was like, this is unfair.
The edit, you mean?
It's hard
Or
again.
her behavior, her self-victimization.
Yeah, I think production played into it. I don't really blame her all the time for that. I really believe that's what the curation was around it. That's something I can actually separate from her per se, right? Like I don't know if I believe that was like her, right? I actually believed that some of the production genuinely felt bad and wanted us to look like the villains there. Villains is an overstatement, but like
it
people
did feel villainous because it was a group, though, right? Once
right.
it's 2 or 3 gathered against a single
Correct.
pregnant Black woman, it immediately the optics feel off.
Yeah,
I think it's always tricky because I always say this: if you have made me unsafe, I am not who you come for to comfort you.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I also think that part of it was like I genuinely could not say you trying to fuck up my bags and I don't trust you, and so some of that I had to eat. Some of that I just had to eat.
That's a big bite though, friend. Because I would have been pacing back and forth, looking at my debit. Like, you want to see my debit, my deposit? I still got them. No thanks to you.
It's a big bite, but you know what? I am just grateful I was able to just go back to like, I'm loved. I feel good. The people who know, and that's just what it is, right? And I am very clear that some things are temporary, right?
Yeah.
On a daily basis, I was still getting mad love, and I still do all the time in person, online. So like, I never took even comments, right? Most people who comment on social media online are not the main ones watching TV, right? Like, it's 5% of those people who comment online, right? And so even positive comments can throw you off because you could think everyone's loving you, but they may hate you in real life, actually, right? Yeah. So like that's just the reality of it. And I never once felt like I was in real life. I never once felt like I was an enemy. Like that's just not how people showed up in real life to me. And I'm talking about strangers even, right? Mostly strangers for that matter.
How did you feel though by the reunion? Because I remember thinking the reunion felt terse because that was the last time you guys were on the show together, was that reunion episode. How did you?
I was angry. I was actually angry.
You seemed a little pissed, friend.
I was angry at the reunion. Yeah, I was angry, one, because I could already tell that the purpose was not for us to reconcile. And I mean like the cast. Like it was rushed. It was very much like, we're only gonna give this to y'all because people are complaining about it. It didn't feel like it was handled with care. And again, I'm not stupid. I recognize what it is. But some of it felt like this is not an opportunity for reconciliation. So like, if we actually want to reconcile, let's figure out how to do that. But I feel like there were some who came with the script. And again, that's not me. Like, I'm just going to speak from the heart because this is just what I feel. Some people are a little bit more methodical, and I would argue manipulative than that. I'm just being real.
Manipulative is a strong word, but I can tell you mean it.
Yeah. I mean it from my toes to the top of my head.
Who are you so cool with now? Knowing
many of so I on a weekly basis at least talk to Jordan, Summer, Nick, Alex, Noelle. Those are the main ones I talk to. Like,
I met Nick and Alex. They were lovely.
Yeah, no, those were, and those are the ones who are also coming to the wedding. Like, yeah, like
about the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. When is the wedding, friend?
October 25th. So it is coming.
That's my mother's birthday.
Are you serious?
Preston, you were getting married on my mama's birthday?
No, that's wild. Yeah. So y'all met him on the show.
Yes,
but I also think that's, part of it too is like, I am so loved like that and I feel it every day. So I'm like, just kind of, these are the things you kind of deal with overall. Like I'm still talking to folks too about like other show opportunities too.
So are you still down to do more reality TV then?
Yeah, I'm actually in a couple of conversations right now with folks. So it doesn't seem like it's over. It doesn't seem like it's over. I'll just say that I can't obviously, very well, obviously can't say much, but yeah, like there are definitely some pending opportunities.
There was one show we talked about. I hope you end up on that show.
Baby, you and me both. Trust me, you and me. I got some.
Do it for both of us, friend.
Look,
please, I need to be on here doing a live stream about. Did y'all see the new episode with Preston? They'll be in here.
Oh, look.
I need you to understand that, as a Black man, it's so important the space that you take up in the world. There's a video that I didn't think I was gonna play because I always do research on my friends before they come on the show to make sure that they still have sense.
Oh yeah, that's honest.
No, I need you to, because here's the thing too, right? Whenever you are bonding with someone and you have a big voice, and this is something I think probably happens to you, there are certain people who police how they speak around those who they know they can't say foolishness around.
Oh, fair.
And so even though I might really enjoy someone, there have been so many times where I've recognized that other people have different experiences with them because they're not policing as much.
Yep.
And so I was like, let's try to be
Look, that's why I try to be as consistent as possible at all times.
You are actually incredibly consistent. I have so many videos here about Charlie motherfucking Kirk.
Baby, let me tell you something about that individual.
I'm kind of torn because I'm trying to find Preston's face. I see Charlie Kirk. I see a Nigerian crying over Charlie Kirk. We're gonna talk about that. Why are Nigerians crying over? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna play this video of the Nigerian crying over Charlie Kirk, or the person mocking Nigerians crying. Because so what did he do for Nigeria? I'm so confused, friends. Like, are y'all okay?
No.
Let me just play this video real quick, guys. Let me add it to the stage.
Nigerians, why are we crying over Charlie Kirk? Actually, why are you crying over Charlie Kirk? He didn't deserve this. From Ajegunle. From Yaba, you didn't meant. What has Charlie Kirk ever done for you? Do you know? This is why they colonized us. Because you people don't used to mind your business. You don't used to mind your business. You don't used to mind your business.
This man is literally Preston. What are we watching?
I hope it's a skit. It's happy.
No,
it's gotta be epic now.
And then here's the thing too, right? It's mostly Black men.
Oh,
I don't know what it's gonna take for men, and yes, I'm a man, to be able to have an honest conversation about our connection to patriarchy and patriarchal violence. It is so incredibly frustrating hearing conversations around possibility of a Trump pardon for Diddy and how many Black men, likely straight Black men, talking about how exciting this is, talking about good, because he should really grant him that, which is so fascinating to me how quickly we become MAGA and Trump supporters when it feels like Black women are the ones who clearly are going to be experiencing the brunt of most of these things.
Yep.
It's clear that we don't care so long as black women, femmes, queer folk continue to be the one harmed. And we do it while actually buddying up with Trump and black men, because I want us to be abundantly clear. These men don't care about y'all. I don't care if they pardon you. Trust me, they're doing it for their interest more than yours. They don't care about y'all. They know that you see there is a connection to the power and privilege that you want, and they're trying to trick you into ultimately believing that you can get it too. You can't get it. You're not white. You're not white. So please stop harming our communities just because you're trying to build the power and privilege of white men. You're going to lose every single time. And it's going to cause devastation for a long time.
Now, Preston, I love it when black men speak to other black men directly about this, because I feel like a lot of times the loudest voices that we hear are women pleading to men. And I think, let's be honest, men just listen to each other more closely. Unfortunately, fortunately, it is what it is. Yeah. How does it feel as a queer black man who understands that you're like you said, I always say to this, guys, queer men are still men. Gay men are still men. I cannot stand it when we act like because you are not straight that you are suddenly not a man. Yeah. Right? How does it feel being in spaces with cis het men, black men right now in this ecosystem? Because that sounds tricky.
It's hard. And you know what? And I always want to be clear, right? It's difficult for me in particular. I was just having this conversation a couple of months ago. Again, most of my work has been on abortion access and maternal health. And
I love that.
It's been tricky because, you know, this black woman was on the panel, brilliant panel. And she said, you know, men, mind you, the room was maybe 100 people. It's probably 5 men in the room, probably all queer, to be honest. But, you know, she was like, black men, I really need y'all to talk to other black men. And I had to stop and I asked her a question afterward. And I said, I mean this from the deepest part of my heart. And I said, do you mean men generally, or do you mean straight men need to talk to straight men? And I was like, and I asked because because of the connections between misogyny, misogynoir, and homophobia, many cishet black men respond to me in many ways, arguably like they do black women. Like they see me as like being one and the same as y'all. Like, you know, and in many ways, many have even said comments to me like, you don't fuck women. Why do you care about abortion and repro, right? And I have to like gently hold their hand and explain to them, because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
people? Why do you care about people?
Right. I'm like, if my only connection to care is based on who and how I'm fucking, that's crazy.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, well, let me hold your hand and talk to you like you're 4.
But those are the same black men who are only chivalrous women that they want to sleep with.
Almost had a muscle spasm. Yes.
Look. Right? Like there's some men who are lovely as long as you are Betty that they want to smash.
Exactly.
Anybody else is like, move, bitch. I'm like, wait, just because you don't want to smash, I can't get a
look. But you know what, Blue? I know that's true, and I still talk to us.
Yeah.
Because I find it that it is honestly my duty to do so. Like I just, you know, I've never thought of myself as gender expansive or non-binary for that matter. I, for many ways, fortunately or unfortunately, connect to manhood and masculinity in some respects. And I find that because I still connect to it in a way, and because I receive the benefits of it in several ways, I still have to talk to other black men about why all these fights are also our fights too. I mean, even like the National Guard coming to DC, right? There were black gay men who specifically told me that they didn't feel like this was our fight. And I'm like, baby, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, I don't get what you mean by that. I'm like, the National Guard is snatching up everybody that's brown and black at this point here. What you think you being gay is gonna stop them from doing that? And so
you not read books.
I believe that some people really believe some fights are very much they believe they're immune from certain actions based on what's happening. But yeah, I feel like I have to talk to black men. I mean, I see us fucking up a lot. I see trauma responses happening a lot. I see misogyny happening all the time, right? And I see misogyny from gay Black men all the time, right? And transphobia from
the transphobia in the gay community is rampant, honey.
It's rampant, right? Yeah. Even jokes, right? Like I even have to like cuss out my friends from like, you know, and I know they're joking, but even making comments, you know, regarding something being fish, right? And I'm like, y'all stop. Like, stop. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
masculinity is considered as privilege.
Right. And I'm like, and y'all don't realize that that is actually misogynistic. And I'm like, but it is. And I'm like, and y'all may think y'all are just joking about it, but let's see how that looks if they said, hey, punk, right? Like, hey, F word, right? Like, you would hate it if they did it. So I'm like, I just hate that people only see oppression when it impacts them. Right. And they take everything else as just to be lighthearted and a joke, even though it also grossly impacts other people. People that they
love that you do that. Yeah, I love that you do that because a lot of Black women really enjoy me until I start talking about transphobia. Now that booty cheeks get tight. Because I once said, and I still stand behind this, that Black women are some of the most transphobic people in the world, not because they're malicious, but because we were told that we were the bottom of the hierarchy and there was a trap door underneath us for Black trans women.
Blue, you know who you sound like, right? You sound like my home. I don't know how much you know or have a relationship with Brittany Packnett Cunningham.
I think we follow each other on Threads.
She is brilliant, and when it's a really good friend of mine. And when I tell you she explained this. We were talking about all of these same topics randomly because you know we're nerds. And one of the things she said to me, I said, "Well, how do you talk to other Black women about transphobia?" I'm like, because I see transphobia happening a lot with Black women. And she says, I always have to break it down in specific ways because she's like, the people who you're usually upset with, it's not trans women who are trying to police your womanhood. It was actually cis white women who were. And now you're treating even Black trans women like they were the cis white women. And they weren't the people trying to police you. These people are, and you're trying to still build proximity to them. And so I actually liken that in many ways to like LGBTQ issues and Black folks, because I'm like, y'all, there is a primary issue.
Somebody here wrote about this. It says it's all right for heterosexual and homosexuality to take a backseat to racism and gender, in my opinion. A lynching on the popular tree is only about your race as Black. Actually, that's historically not true, guys. That's actually historically false.
Yeah.
All of you have feelings about things that are actually already facts.
Yeah, I this is why I want people to read more.
Yeah, that's not so fair.
Like, and I struggle so much with, and it's comments like this that I'm like, I just can spit out books that disproves this already.
Even the Nazis had pink triangles because they did care about your orientation, guys. It's all intermingled. You guys try to compartmentalize oppression. I'm a Black woman. Which one do I pick before I get shot by the police? Is it because I'm Black or a woman?
Right. Well,
and you would think it's because I'm Black, but you'd be surprised.
Well, but yes.
Because it's the totality of who I am. They might see me as a Black bitch, right? They might have seen a Black man in a suit and thought he was one of the good ones, and see me in a turban and think I must be radical. Like the intersectionality of gender and race and phenotypes and texturism and colorism and social economic class. It is a grab bag of oppression, guys. And we can't piecemeal it like that.
I'm going to say something that people may hate. The truth is, it is a privilege to be able to say that you're one identity before the other identity. That is a privileging statement.
And she wants some sources. Mount Rob wants some resources.
Oh, I don't know if there's a way that I don't know how to do that, but happy to. Because the reality is, like, I'm happy to do so if you're being genuine.
Yeah.
Because
if you send me a link, I will put them in the comments and pin it.
Yeah, because I'm not going to waste my time doing things that people can use as a gotcha moment. There are
because there's so many times in history where the intersection of orientation and gender and race have all commingled.
Yeah, but I rarely hear I'm this before this from people who actually experience intersectional oppressive identities, right? Like I share with people often, like, you may see a Black person first, but I don't feel Black first. I feel Black and queer together all the time at the same time. Yep. Right. I fundamentally know if I'm walking into different spaces, they're going to view me differently as a Black gay man. Like
Yeah.
that's just what it is. And the reality is when it comes to like Blackness and queerness in particular, like those are different like facets of oppression that we have different experiences on all the time. But when it comes to police, I have this conversation all the time when it comes to police violence and institutional harm. You may be like, I'll use you, right, as a Black woman. At the end of the day, if anyone studies police violence and policing, generally speaking, one of the highest rates of sexual violence happens by law enforcement officers, in particular to Black and brown women, to Black and Latina women. Ultimately speaking, you can say it's because they are women, but the reality is the intersection with race clearly is why, right?
What kind of woman?
Right. Like what kind of woman matters?
Yeah.
Like I can also say like, yeah, I'm being shot by the police. And I can say, yeah, it's because I'm Black. But data actually show that there's a high rate of violence to the queer community as well. There's historical violence, right? That's how pride even became a thing, right?
And Black trans women are, their numbers are so disproportionate. I literally had to do a study for the GRIO. We were looking at research about colorism. And I had said to them, I was like, look, you know, for me, growing up in the 90s, fat phobia was my biggest thing. It wasn't colorism. Like, dark-skinned girls were pulling all the light-skinned niggas in the 90s. So I didn't have that issue. It was more so, they were like, no, Blue, look up the stats. And I was stunned. They learned me that day.
Agree.
They literally did research on skin color, like literally the shade of Black.
Yeah.
And arrest rates. And literally the darker the person, the higher the arrest rates. But it's down to the shade of your skin.
Blue, that also translates to housing discrimination too. Even within the Black community, if you, and this is data from, I don't know if they did updates from this, to be honest, but this was 2019. I remember the last time I looked at this. Lighter skinned Black folks were better approved of housing than darker skinned Black folks. Yep. Like it's policing, it's housing, education. Like this is not just, I think people, I don't just speak in theory, right? And I think this is what's so hard because like you also used to be in academia. Yeah. And so I'm like, this is not, I'm not just talking.
Feelings,
like,
it's not just feelings.
Right. This is like, now whether you want to accept the data for what it is, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Right. But whenever I'm talking about this, I'm like, this is not just theoretical. This is not just theoretical. And so that's what makes this really complicated. And frankly, if I'm going back to our point, that's what makes reality TV complicated.
It is. And I was saying to the person, I want you to understand, number one, the cap locks is combative. Number two, saying that you're being genuine.
No, I'm sorry, I gotta stop. What if you have, okay, so this is why I won't be providing resources to this person. If you're genuine about receiving the resources and the resources are peer reviewed and evidence based and they go against what you believe and you say it doesn't necessarily mean I will change my mind, that means you're not being genuine. And I need you to connect your sentence together. It's actually impossible to be both in this way.
That's called willful ignorance. There's a name for that. If you have information that says you are objectively incorrect and want to cling for the sake of your ego because you just don't want to feel like two know-it-alls on live told you something new that inconvenienced you, that's willful ignorance. It's cognitive dissonance. Yeah. It's an ego tantrum, but nothing about that is genuine love.
Like it's like I believe what I believe. Oh, you presented you with something that I don't believe that's actually factually correct and I'm wrong. I'm changing my mind. Okay. Like what the hell? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but here's the thing too.
Crazy.
And she said, "Well, the caps are just expressive thank you and bye." And here's the thing, you're having a lot of emotions while we're being intellectual and objective, right? I want to know you to know that we sincerely were willing to, and I even provided Gia gave you a starting point that I put in the comments. You can see it up front. We were genuine and wanting you to learn something from a place of curiosity, not combat.
Yeah.
Because we are not allowing you to let your ego take over a space where objectivity and intellect makes more sense. Now you're saying thank you and bye because you're dismissing it because you can't manipulate it. Right. I need you to understand that none of that about that is genuine.
Ooh. Listen, let me tell you something. I can't be manipulated. I can't do it. I ain't got it in me. So okay, funny enough.
A lot of people who are anecdotally wise, and anecdotal wisdom is not the same thing as just wisdom. Your experiences are valid, and you can look at something all day and still have no idea what you're looking at. Just because you're self-conscious doesn't mean you're self-aware.
Ooh. You know what? I knew I should have been writing this stuff down.
Look, watch the replay, friend. Just because you're self-conscious doesn't mean you're self-aware. So I'm sure you have strong feelings and comma. There are also facts that are supposed to temper those feelings once you're in the space of those who actually care enough to tell you other, because James Baldwin once said, if I care about you, then it is my duty to make you clear about what you don't see.
My duty.
That was an act of love that you're running from with those cap locks and saying goodbye to. I hope the next time that love shows up for you this way, you actually have the capacity to receive it.
Yeah, because the way I was, it is funny because people were always like, well, can you show me sources? I'm like, sure. Like, of course. But I've also realized some of that is disingenuous.
And when it's disingenuous, they're expecting you to be spicy. They don't expect you to actually sincerely ask the question and wait for the answer.
Yeah, I'm like, sure. Yeah, I mean, the thing we're talking about is quite literally something that was coined in the late 1980s, anyway. And particularly, I have talked about this because one thing I train on is intersectionality as a concept, because a lot of people don't know it is a legal terminology. It is a legal term of art that professor, scholar, attorney Kimberly Crenshaw started after evaluating a case called DeGraff and Reed v. General Motors. Right? Like, it was literally a case specifically.
My friend's a lawyer, y'all. Don't y'all love this? I love when my friends come on.
I tell people this because I'm like, she was literally evaluating a case that the judge and the court got wrong. Well, from her estimation, and I agree, that the court got wrong when these plaintiffs, Black women, were suing General Motors because they said that they were not receiving certain positions as Black women. And literally the judge was like, well, they have women there, but they were white women, and they have Black people there, but they were all Black men. And all the plaintiffs were saying is, you have to let us put our causes of action together as Black women to talk about like the systems that are oppressing us, like racism and like sexism. But the court threw it out. The court was like, actually, if we allow you to put these causes of action together, then we're allowing you to take 2 swings at the bat when only white women and Black men would have 1 swing at the bat. So Crenshaw was like, well, this doesn't make sense because Black men don't need 2 swings at the bat. No. White women don't need 2 swings at the bat. No. So she started to evaluate that the issue with this case was the judge failed to see a framing problem, that framing being racism and sexism intersecting in a way where the roads met. And that is how she got intersectionality, to talk about the roads being impacted by systems of oppression. Yeah. So all of it was around a case. And so when people are like, this doesn't make sense to me, I'm like, no, I think if you actually gave yourself the practical experiences related to like different ways you experience harm, you will get it. You will get it.
And, so funny is the first time I ever did a show with Bridget, we were talking about race, and mind you, she's biracial and so is her co-host. And it's always interesting when you're in a room of biracials because I have a disproportionate amount of biracial friends. I'm from Boston. Lots of swirling happening where I'm from. And I literally think I could do a documentary on them not being a monolith. Biracials who I have a biracial friend, Richard Brookshire, raised by a Haitian mother.
Yep.
He's very different than Mandy B, raised by her white mama who thinks that she's light skinned.
Yeah, no, I love me some Richard.
Right? So I need you to understand, even amongst the biracials. And then I did a show with Melissa Ford, light-skinned Black woman who does not look biracial, but is the loudest about it. Like, there are so many layers, right? And so because I feel like a connoisseur of the biracial experience, and I even asked Bridget and a couple of my biracial friends, why y'all like me so much? Like, what? How I get in it, right? And I got a Black daddy and a Black mama, and everything I talk about is Black, Black, Black. Why y'all coming to me? And she said, it's because of your apathy to our being biracial. You don't come at us with pain. You're more curious. And so we feel safe because there's a level of it. And a lot of people have admitted this to me. A lot of biracial people feel rejected because of the victim speak of their parents.
Right. I got
Their parents give them a warped lens, right? So when a dark-skinned Black girl who has a whole system telling her she's ugly has a one-on-one interaction with you that you call bullying, you're mistaking Keisha for being a bitch for the whole system of anti-Blackness that Keisha has to deal with.
Yeah.
They're similar. And I'm like, you're mad at Keisha. Keisha's mad at the system.
Right.
No, not the fucking same. And Keisha knows when it's time to go to the dance, she's not going to get asked than you are. So she feels a little bit of salty. Understand there's a privilege that she's responding to, but doesn't have the language or the tools to interact with in a healthy way.
Yeah.
You cannot use Keisha as a reason to say reverse colorism exists.
Right.
What? I would say it can't be Tyrone versus the system, y'all. It's not the same. Tyrone doesn't weigh the same as the system, and I'm mad. I'm saying that one dark-skinned person hurt your feelings in '96.
Right, that's exactly. But that's the problem too, right? People definitely overlap institutions and individuals, right? And I'm like, no. What most of us are discussing actually is systemic and institutional harm. What you're discussing is your feelings being hurt 13 years ago because someone said you're not Black enough. That's not the same thing. And I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt. It hurts on a very intimate and personal level. But for you to make that an institutional issue is where we have issues.
That's ego. That's all ego. And actually, funny enough, it is a privilege that you get to do that.
Yeah.
I once said that I honestly think that Black men and white women, when they are unevolved, fight over second place while bonding over Black women beneath them. Let's call a thing by its name, because if you're a Black man, you have half of the winning team. If you're a white woman, you're white, you have half of the winning team. The Black men at the bottom who are climbing up through education, and sometimes in your purview passing you, but only conditionally, because the system is still built more against them than you. You resent her for cutting one line when the whole fucking store is built for you. A lot of times when you see interracial dating, what we're subconsciously looking for, what kind of Black person, what kind of white person?
Yeah.
Were you running towards love like Nicole and Alex and it just so happened to be Big Belgium? Or were you running away from Black women like all the NFL players who want to make babies look like Drake while talking shit about Drake? I always say this, rappers love to talk about Drake, but y'all the one making the new Drakes. So that's weird. That's weird. I need you to pick a struggle. Kendall, let's pivot right into. I'm about to say Kendall. You remember my friend Kendall so much. Well, by the way, do you know Kendall?
Also, it's so funny. We've never.
I feel like y'all must have been at the brunch together. I feel like there was
let me tell you, I wish that is
it's a good time, honey.
That is my boo in my head. I wish, but also someone who really did, talk about the show and really showed me a lot of love. And so, like, I've never had the pleasure.
When you come to LA, if Kendall is around, we all go on a brunch.
Listen, please, baby, I will make sure that happens. I will clear my schedule.
We just need a reason, a sponsored something, panel something. I'm manifesting as we speak. I do want to briefly talk about Charlie Kirk before we wrap up. I had to wait until later in the episode because the way the algorithm works, if they know we're talking about him early, this is going to get a strike and I'm going to be putting him on the list again.
Yeah, baby.
I said free blank a year ago and they demonetized me for 12 months, y'all.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so let's see at some of the things that this man has said, and then I want to hear, Preston, I feel like we can all into it. Your thoughts around the passing of this man and the reaction to it.
Have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot.
So whenever anybody tells you and tries to gaslight you into thinking that Charlie Kirk was not a racist, I want you to pull up this video.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know.
Is that what they said?
Listen,
you do
right up there and unlive Master Son. I'm heard about that one. They done sat up there and unlive Charlie Kirk. That was one of Master's best sons. He always stood up for what's right. See, y'all gotta understand here. Master help us. Master take care of us.
That's what I hear.
Master love us.
Right.
You can't sit up there and celebrate nobody's death. They done hurt Master. When you hurt Master and you hurt Master people, you hurt me. Because I live in eyes. I live in the slave.
Because y'all can't fight me. For the people who are like, that was his political opinion. Okay, pause. Let's run it back to grade school and discuss what is a political opinion. A political opinion is something like, how high should taxes be? Should the states have more control than the federal government? Should we regulate guns more or less? See, these are political opinions. You can agree, disagree, debate them. That's politics. But when you step into saying things like black women don't have the same cognitive ability as white people, or that black people were better off in slavery and Jim Crow because they committed less crimes, that's not a political opinion. That is racism and white supremacy. When you claim that the 1 in 5 women who report SA are liars, that's not a political opinion. That is misogyny.
Quick question. Now, I'm going to play this video, and this could be a bathroom break for anybody who has to use the bathroom. This one's about 5 minutes. This is the video that I posted the week after the inauguration. And 19 Keys got tagged like 100 times. Wow. He showed up, heard the first sentence, and said, "I don't talk to black women who hate black men." And
I remember.
So for those of you who haven't seen this, I'm about to play this, Preston. This is our opportunity to take a bathroom break or get some water or some chapstick.
I feel like I went off. I feel like I replied about this and went off.
Yeah, so I'm about to play this one more time for those who haven't seen it. And the minute this is over, I immediately want to hear Preston's thoughts, because I feel like so many cis-het black men who love me called to say, "You stretched me in the beginning. I love you, and I wanted to fight you in the beginning, but by the end, you landed the plane." And I was like, well, the part that wanted to fight me in the beginning was the weakness leaving your body, so you're welcome. All right, let's watch.
That's also interesting because I never felt offended or anyways.
Head dog will holler, okay? Apparently it wasn't your stone.
Quick question. Does anybody else feel like the GOP has targeted and identified straight black men as the weakest emotional link in our community? No, seriously, think about it. Before you get your boxers in a bunch, I'm not saying this as a black woman. I'm not saying this as a matter of opinion. I am saying it as someone who has been looking at social trends a lot lately, looking at political trends, and also looking at Hitler's playbook. Because if we're keeping it a stack, it's impossible to fully understand or appreciate how dangerous Trump is without looking at Hitler, who clearly is his blueprint. And when I look at all three of these things, it becomes shockingly clear to me as an educated hypothesis that the GOP has intentionally been targeting straight black men for years now under our noses. And honestly, if you think about it, it makes total sense, objectively and non-emotionally speaking, right? Because for centuries now, white supremacy has intentionally been separating black men from black women in a ploy to weaken their families, right? And the thought was, if we take away the black men due to chattel slavery, due to the school to prison pipeline, due to bullshit marijuana laws, if we keep separating these women from their men, they're going to become weaker. But instead of becoming weaker, black women were like a resistant virus in the face of white supremacy, where instead of becoming compromised, we just kept mutating into stronger strains of ourselves, right? Instead of dying off, black women just kept on getting stronger and stronger and more resistant. And white supremacy probably said to itself, fuck, we were trying to make these bitches weak. Not only are they not weak, they've gotten stronger, even though their men are gone. So now white supremacists are stuck with these resistant, strong-backed black women who refuse to be broken, right? Even though their men are being put away in prisons and in fields. Then they start thinking, okay, so the only group that is even marginally as destructive to our plans as black women is gay people, right? And gay men in particular know what it's like to bristle against the intersection of sexism and racism, because a lot of gay men, homophobia, the basis of homophobia is to punish gay black men for being too close to being women, right? It's seen as feminine and therefore weak to be gay. And that's how we get brothers like James Baldwin. That's how we get people like Bayard Rustin, the architect of the civil rights movement. So now the GOP is probably looking at itself like, okay, the revolution is being led by these black women who are showing up to constantly save the Democratic Party, because while their men were in prison, they were all going to college and became the quickest and most educated group in the country. And right behind them are these snooty gay boys who stand on the shoulders of James Baldwin, who not only have access to masculinity, but also know how to talk to and engage with femininity. A man who can talk to a woman who happens to be black, that sounds dangerous. We are in a space where little gay black boys who grew up idolizing their matriarchs and brilliant aunties who were keeping down the household while their fathers, for systemic reasons, were elsewhere. And so Black women and gay men and the queer community as a whole, these two groups are already in cahoots according to white supremacy. So who's the only group left? Straight Black men. Because in the same way that the system took these men out of our communities, when they shipped them back into our communities, they were emotionally broken. They were spiritually broken. They were financially and psychologically broken. And they came back to all these queer people and all these women who had made strides without them. And imagine what that must have felt like for all those Black men, right? Your daughters and queer family members and wives and sisters are all speaking a language that you don't speak. They're all getting an education that you didn't get. And you are feeling like, I'm a man. I should be leading, and yet I'm struggling to even follow behind them. So misogyny is telling you you can't talk about your feelings, while the world is telling you you've been left behind. Of course, straight Black men are resentful. The system is what disenfranchised you. The system is what pulled you apart from the rest of your community so that you felt left behind. The system is what told you that you didn't deserve to have feelings and that you couldn't open up about your lived experiences and frustrations. And then when you were sitting there feeling like shit, feeling like less of a man, the system offered you a semblance of acceptance in return for leaving us behind. Conservatism is trying to get Black men to do to us as the queer community, as the female community, as the progressive community. It's trying to get you to do to us what they've already done to you. Of course, they can offer you a solution when they're the ones who created the problem. And you know what movie makes me think of this entire thing? Like, almost like a brilliant analogy of what's happening between Black men and the rest of, straight Black men and the rest of our community? The movie Mean Girls. Every single movie you ever see about a group of popular mean girls is there's always this group of friends where all four of them are seen as nobodies and losers, right? And then the mean girls figure out who's the weakest, thirstiest person in the clique. Who's the person who needs to win the most? And they take that one girl out of the group. They groom her. And the girl is told that she has to become a mean girl herself by throwing the rest of her friends under the bus. Right? And how do those movies always end? The mean girl who's been groomed to join the devil figures out that she was never really accepted to begin with, that she was always a token, and now she goes crying back to her old friends and her old community to have her back because she was never one of them. That's Black men right now. And when you watch these movies, you always recognize that the girl who wanted so bad to be accepted by the collective was actually stronger when she stood with her own. And I think when you think about what's happened since Obama won, right? Obama's the perfect example. He was a straight Black man who was able to topple over the system. And the system realized we can't let another Obama happen. We can't let another strong, intelligent Black man who's married to a Black woman and who cares about the Black community. They are the only thing that can really defeat us from that group. And now we have to figure out how to once again tear Black men away from their community. This time, not through chattel slavery, not through the prison system, but through psychological warfare. I'm starting to realize that the whole algorithm around gender wars, I don't think gender wars is the algorithm. I think the algorithm that was designed by white men was doing this on purpose. The algorithm told you as a Black man, the only way to win or be joined by white men is to date white women. The algorithm told you Black women are the bane of your existence. Even though they're more educated than you and could teach you something, nah, they're the enemy. Don't learn shit from them. Fuck a book, okay? In fact, fuck a book and fuck a white bitch, okay? The algorithm told them, hey, gay men, you know, they are enemies too because they're pussies, even though that they also have something to teach you about a different side of masculinity. Although they're getting therapy at the rates that you need to be getting therapy. Nah, fuck gay men, right? Fuck therapy. Despite the fact that there's a loneliness epidemic and Black men are the quickest group of people killing themselves in this country. Nah, fuck that, because that's gay to get therapy. The algorithm that's run by people like Elon Musk. A lot of things that we're blaming on, well, whatever you watch, you get more of. No, I think they intentionally divided us through social media, and that's part of how we got here. And so now in 2025, we're in the position where the mental slave that was targeted the most by the system has now been invited into Master's house as a pawn and is cradling Master to his bosom as his savior, even though he's actually his captor. It's giving Django Unchained. If you've ever seen that movie, that infamous scene when the house Negro, Samuel L. Jackson, is cradling his master, Leonardo DiCaprio, to his bosom because those field slaves have the audacity to storm the building. History keeps repeating itself if we don't educate ourselves. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. None of this is new. Like I said when I started this video, the reason why I'm making these connections is not because I'm a fortune teller. It's because I'm studying history with the hopes that we stop repeating it. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Because, yeah, this one was heavy.
I'm petty. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. Preston. That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Jesus wept. That was a lot.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I first saw that video, I was like, Blue is in her bag right now. And part of it, especially the line, is something to the effect of like, of course, they can tell you the solution. They've created the problem. Yeah. And I think that is like honestly one of the most genius lines, because I do think there were so many Black men, particular straight Black men this past election, who absolutely were like grappling to be a Trump supporter, or at the very least making it seem like MAGA and conservative propaganda was the thing for them, even though we all know it is literally not the thing for you all, or for them, and for, in many ways, us, and didn't care about it. And I think that's so unfortunate.
Stimulus checks at the barbershop. Ooh, stimulus checks.
Yeah. And I'm like, but that line, like, they have of course they can tell you the solution, they created the problem. Like, that's some real shit. Like, that is some real shit.
It makes me sad. I think.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I understand why straight Black men were offended for the most part when they heard the video, but I'm like,
they was mad, honey.
But you were, and I remember this because I was kind of going off on some people in your comments, but I'm like, at the end of the day, if you actually sat with this video and watched it, it is actually not you making these big grand gestures that are anti-Black men. It was actually you blaming the system for how many of them likely feel.
I was empathizing with them the entire time. Like, they set you up to feel like this.
It was absolutely empathetic. And I think this is why I really wish people took themselves out of themselves and their own brains when they were watching videos. Because I'm like, you are looking to be offended in some respect. Like, this is actually, I am not saying that y'all aren't shit. I am not saying that y'all aren't educated. I am saying that this system sets y'all up in this way. Yeah. Right. And as opposed to actually rejecting, right, the oppression that the system has done to y'all, you're actually teetering up to it, right, and grabbing it like it's a bosom. And that is so empathetic, right, in many ways, that I just wish that many of them were able to just see what you were putting down, as opposed to like just believing it was going to be an anti-Black male video.
But you know how when you go on a date with somebody and they want to put their best foot forward, and if they have intimacy issues, you seeing them too clearly is either an opportunity to have intimacy or if they feel exposed?
Correct. I do, yes.
I was inviting intimacy, but instead they just felt very exposed and angry.
Correct. Yeah. And admittedly, I think that is what happened. I mean, honestly, I think you can say anything around like an identity, and people are like, that's not what I'm like, but that's not what I said, actually. And that's one of my favorite lines I tell people now is like, please respond to what I said, not what you made up in your head. Like, what I said something that you actually did not either receive that way I said, but you're responding to what you made up in your head based on what I said. I said something very different.
I got into an argument with somebody not too long ago. Well, not an argument. It was a courageous conversation. And they were like, well, you know what you meant. I said, here's the thing. I'm brilliant and I get paid to communicate. You don't have to translate anything through the lens of trauma. I said exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
And then she was like, the lens of trauma. I said, yes, because everything that I heard that I didn't recognize was trauma-based.
Absolutely.
So this is what I said, and then there's the trauma that you sprinkled on it, like seasoning. So, Preston, one of the things that I love about having people like you on the show, before we wrap up, because everybody in here is so hype, and I can't believe all 700 and plus of y'all sat here through this entire conversation.
Listen, y'all are brilliant too. Look, thank
This
y'all.
is the proof of concept. People act like you can't have a smart conversation, have people sit around and actually listen to it.
Yeah.
And yet every week when I do these lives, hundreds of people sit for hours listening to internal dialogue that even when it makes them uncomfortable, they're not unsafe.
Exactly. Well, and I think people want more of this in their lives. I think that there's so much oversaturation of stupidity in the media that I think conversations like this, because I mean, hell, for me even, it is cathartic right now. And it is like beautiful to listen to like brilliant Black women like talk really good intellectual shit about all the issues going on.
Well, how do you feel about those people who are virtue signaling and trying to shame those who are not mourning Charlie Kirk?
So let me tell y'all, to everybody listening, please like follow me on social media, especially Instagram. That's where I've been going.
We're about to do this. Share all your handles right now. Let's do it early.
Because Preston Mitchum is mostly true for everywhere. But I've been posting a lot about this. So because I did not expect one of my posts to go viral in this way. I just looked and I had like 100.
Where is it? I'll find them and play for them, child.
Yeah, it had like you funny enough, it wasn't even a video. It was, well, I made a video too, but to follow up, but it literally was just like me writing something, one black square. Because so for folks who may not know, so again, I do come from, in some respect, part of my professional background is the academy, and I was an adjunct professor of law for about 6.5 years. And one of them I was teaching at Georgetown University Law Center. And back
I love when you talk your shit, friend. I'm sitting there like a problem. I'm like, yes, you better read it.
Well, so that's another thing too. When people be like, "Oh yeah, Preston from TV," I'm like, "Yeah, it's true."
Sure. And also the classroom and also the courtroom.
I ain't never gonna be mad at that. Like you can never be offended by how someone is introduced to you. Like I get it. But no, so I was adjuncted for 4 years at Georgetown Law Center, and in 2017 I was teaching LGBTQ health law and policy, and I got put on Turning Point USA, which was Charlie Kirk's organization, 501c3 organization, mind you. And under a vertical, they have a professor watch list, which is pretty much just made of progressive, mostly Black and brown professors.
Mark Lamont Hill's on that watch list from what I've heard from him.
Stacey Patton, Mark Lamont Hill, I mean, a good Brittany Cooper, like a decent amount of us who are just, I would just say smart Black folks, were put on those lists. And so those lists led to a lot for me. In 2018, I was doxxed. Based on the list, I received daily up to 10 to 15 death threats, to the point when, and this is how I knew it was serious, Georgetown called me, and it was after I tweeted something that a lot of them didn't like, that I still stand by to this day, to be honest. But I admit it was very overhanded and it was very blunt. And just so I'm clear what it said, it basically said something to the effect of like, all white people are racist, all men are sexist, all cis people are transphobic, but we don't have to be. We have to actually unpack what all that means inherently and do the work.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I was like, no, but that, like, I still believe that. Like,
we're all spoon-fed the system. We're all spoon-fed that bullshit, regardless of who we are. Yeah.
But you know what? They were mostly offended. You probably won't be surprised. What they were all offended by was the line that said all white people are racist. And I was like, well, I also said all cis people are transphobic and all men are sexist, but you didn't get mad at that. Like because people do look at race sometimes very differently. Like people don't push back as often being called sexist as they do racist.
Yeah. Because machismo is proud of sexism.
Right, exactly. Right. They're very proud to be anti-fem, right? So ultimately put me on a professor watch list. So, I knew it was serious when Georgetown called me. At first I thought they were calling me to call me into the principal's office and I was about to lose my job. No, they were like, we support you. We support your free speech. This is part of academic freedom. What we have been getting are phone calls of death threats of people who wanted to come to your classroom. And so we want to know if you want to be escorted by the police. to
Oh
your
my
side.
God.
And so this was 2018. And so it was, and mind you, around the same time, I was also on a Fox News debate with Charlie Kirk specifically.
Mhm.
And after all this happened, I said, so that was a very difficult year of my life. And so when people are, so I wrote about this on this post because I'm like, I am not about to police anything at this point. If you don't, whatever, celebrate, non-celebration, more, non-more, I'm not. All I'm saying is for those of us in particular who had real life interactions with this individual, who made our life a living hell, who caused death threats and us to be doxxed, caused my address to be publicly on live on his website, don't tell us how to feel. Like, don't tell those of us how to feel. Of course, people want to try to, people are ahistorical, right? People want to make someone a deity when they die. Yeah. But I've always learned, and my praying grandmother has always said to me, if someone wants to be talked about kindly at their death, they need to be kind at their life.
Oh, that's a bar.
Look, and if my praying grandma can believe that, my praying Christian grandma can believe that, I don't want to hear anything else from anyone about don't feel happy when someone passes away. Like, you can't convince me of that when there's people like Hitler who existed in this world. Like, you will never be able to convince me that I'm not going to be happy that evil people are no longer existing on this earth. I'm sorry. And I believe that people say that because they really believe it makes them better than you.
Yeah.
They actually, I think, genuinely believe I don't care what they believe. I'm never going to mourn their death. Well, baby, and then what? What do you get?
Virtue signaling. It's like, I'm more virtuous than you. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, you're not, because I've never seen someone who actually fights for people who make those type of statements. The only people who I've ever heard make those type of statements are folks who either don't know evil because they don't work in the type of work that we do. They're not talking about things publicly or privately for that matter. They're not engaged in the day-to-day minutia of the work for Black folks that a lot of us are. Like, I've quite literally never heard activists say it. Like, I've never heard that. So I'm just like, oh, it must be good to say that type of information when you don't have to deal with this on a daily basis. Like, that's a very privileging position to hold.
It's a huge privilege. And Charlie Kirk, in his own words, said that he doesn't believe in empathy.
Right.
So it's wild to me that you guys are asking for empathy for a man who said he didn't believe in it. And also, too, be very careful, guys. And I'm going to say this, and I debated. I'm not going to post any clips about this because I debated about being responsible with this conversation, which is why I kept it for the very end.
Correct.
When his widow spoke, she said that
that's the evil one. I'm sorry.
She's very evil. When his widow spoke, she said, with tears in her eyes, being very melodramatic, that she told her daughter that daddy just went to go, get more money for the blueberry budget. And people were like, how sweet is that, this woman is telling her child that daddy went out to get blueberries for the blueberry budget. Actually, I'm going to actually pull it up so you guys can see. And they were like, that's a mother who is, looking out for her child. What you guys don't understand is for the neo-Nazis who live amongst us, there is a famous picture of a bunch of white women at Auschwitz where Jewish people were unalived, eating blueberries while watching people die.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberry is an alt-right term for the women who love the men who killed the non-whites.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the New York Times and all types of articles have been written showing the picture of the women in the blueberry field.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that your husband was just unalived and your first thought is to use your daughter as a shield to send a message of evil to others who are listening.
Yeah.
I'm going to show as much empathy, even though he didn't believe in it, to Charlie Kirk as he did to the families of George Floyd.
Hampton had a family. Emmett Till had a family. George Stanley had a family. Trayvon Martin had a family. I can go on and on. But you see the difference between them and what happened to Charlie Kirk? He's a white Christian male living in America. Literally the golden boy for the entire world. They want you to feel bad for that. Now, don't get me wrong. Just as a human being, bro, seeing that video, like, I ain't gonna lie, it ruined my day. But I had to come back to terms like, damn, man, that was really nothing. So many of my ancestors got strung up on trees, burned alive, body parts pulled off, eaten alive. Then kids had to go on without their fathers. You know, the spouse is like, man, hey.
I need you to understand, why is it that we are numb to Black bodies being traumatized and trampled all the time, but the minute a non-Black body gets a hangnail, now everybody has to find some empathy?
This is something I specifically talked about on, I believe, Instagram and Threads in particular. And I want to see if I can find it really quickly, because part of it was this exact conversation of what that person was talking about in that video. Because a lot of it was like, oh, okay, like, oh, here's what it says. Stop demanding our empathy. Stop demanding our compassion. Stop demanding our anger. We recognize political violence. Oh, now seeing violent images are a bit too much. We know. It's why we don't want to force. It's why we didn't want to be force-fed videos of Black people being killed by cops, but you showed it anyway. It's why we didn't want to see our lynching and blooded bodies, but you showed it anyway. It's why we don't want to see Palestinians begging for food, and you laugh. Now you want humanity? Welcome to our lives. And so I just don't have that same connection to that, right? Like, you want us to feel bad now? I like, for what reason? Like, what? And then now it's trying to be turned on us, right? Like, but see, it can't just continue. And it's like, we were trying to get y'all to stop. Yeah. Now y'all want us to take the high road again? No, not doing it. Not doing it.
I love you being the start of my week.
Look, same. I was like, it's only Monday. Look.
Right? This is energizing, isn't it? This is so energizing. Preston, you have to come back, especially as the world gets crazier.
I would love to.
I think too, though, there's a thing I do. I'm starting up called the Academy, where we have these conversations behind a wall, so that it's only people who are opting in, because things can get too radical for some folks.
Yeah, agreed.
And here's the thing too about the term radical. Let me look up the word radical real quick, because I love the etymology of a word. I'm a logophile, so I love what words mean. The word radical means relating to or affecting the fundamental nature of something, far-reaching or thorough. Far-reaching, thorough, and reflecting the fundamental nature. I don't think I like that word. That means pure, grade, uncut.
Yeah.
Lacking bullshit or being watered down. As someone who likes pure truth, that is the most radical thing you could do. A Black woman who likes herself is radical. A queer Black man who likes himself, even if he doesn't have to starve himself.
Right.
You know how much I talk to your community, like, honey, eat the donut. It's okay, honey.
It's okay. Yeah, because, that's another.
We're going to have a conversation about fat phobia.
We have a very body obsessed community, and a lot of it, mostly all of it, is rooted in fat phobia. And I think that's why I actually push back very, very specifically. People talk about, I'm going to the gym because I got to burn. I'm like, baby, I don't care. In fact, I'm probably going to order more food because you just said that.
My thing is, are you healthy though? Right? Yeah. Because Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser had a heart attack from subjecting people to the extreme standards that he did in The Biggest Loser.
Exactly. Yeah, people are obsessed with their body in ways that I'm like, I can't relate. I'm sorry.
You will meet a queer Black academic who is brilliant, but who is starving themselves.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, they got you. They got you through the back door near the kitchen.
Right. But you know what? And people don't ever want to admit that those are still the same tools of white supremacy that you're saying you don't occupy.
Yeah.
Like, and
this is not a body positive space, because I think fat mean girls are just as bad as skinny mean girls. This is a body neutral space.
Yeah.
The body positive girls, they be mean. I just don't like mean people. I like grown people, but not mean people. There's a distinction. As part of the body neutrality is, as long as you are healthy and taking care of yourself, and you and your doctor have had a conversation about what works for you, and you and your therapist have also had a conversation about what works for you.
Exactly.
You like it, I love it.
Exactly.
You like it, I love it. Preston, is there anything you want to shout out? Because they're all obsessed, and they're all gonna, if they're not already following, you're gonna make sure that they follow you even harder.
Listen, well, keep me prayed up on different TV and media opportunities that seem like it could be coming. Also, I finally finished my book proposal, so I'm meeting with a potential literary agent this week, so I'm excited about that. Just some good. I'm really trying to really actually do more video content, even short clips. I really miss. I was doing a lot of writing. I still write, but I really want to make sure that I do a lot of face on more. Like I really miss that interaction. And it seems like people have been asking me a lot for it. And I really want to get more of that. So I'm happy that this space is like exists, generally speaking. And thank you for thinking of me.
Oh,
and of course, follow me.
Please follow Preston. You already know he's Preston.Mitchum at most of the platforms. Remember the ones that not remember, let us know.
Yeah.
Also, too, when you have something to announce, we're here with open arms.
Baby, yes. And and I get married next month. So what's better
Now I have to remember when I'm singing happy birthday to my mother, I have to send Preston a congratulations text. People in the chat are saying that they just started following. So many people are saying that they're following you. They read your article. They were talking about your article in the comments.
Yes.
You are deeply loved and you've aged so well, darling.
Oh, baby, let me thank you. Oh my God.
That's a sincere compliment coming from a skincare girly.
So this is literally my matte dry because I had a facial earlier today. So I was
like, as a skincare girly, I was like, the skin is giving, friend.
Look, oh my God. People are like, what makeup? I said, I appreciate that compliment.
Somebody said, what is more dangerous, misogyny or racism? The system that makes us feel like that we can actually piecemeal. That's
I would completely agree with that. I don't think either is more dangerous. Yeah. Unfortunately, and I say this truly in love, the fact that you had to ask this question in this way is how I know that both are equally dangerous.
Yeah. Oppression Olympics always means that everybody's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Preston, I adore you. And the next time we speak, you will be a married man.
Yes. And that's why listen, when I come to LA next, I will definitely keep you posted.
Let me know. I'll call Kendall and see he's available.
Yes. Like I want some cooking, so I have to
look, and he can cook too, child.
Look, I'll be seeing them food videos. I'm like, come on now.
That boy clearly has a parasite. You guys say about it, Preston. Also, too, they're all saying congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see the pictures.
It's gonna be so good. Final fitting is coming up.
Oh, okay. I mean, be snatched or not, you know.
Right, exactly. You know, it's gonna be good.
Love you, friend. Now, guys, Preston was amazing. I'm about to go because I have to do a thing with Bridget in an hour, so I need some time for lunch. I will say this for the candle orders. If you have not already ordered a candle, please do so. One thing I will say is I've noticed that most people who have been ordering the spiritual baths have been buying them in packs of 2. I hate environmental waste. So if you already ordered spiritual baths, you're going to get them in the size that you ordered. And, I have now upgraded the size of the spiritual baths to be twice the size in one package because the idea of creating that much waste, I know I sound like an environmentalist. The idea of creating that much waste when my audience is showing me that they want 2 at a time felt silly to me. So I had the people who I'm working with, we've now made bigger packages. So the spiritual baths will now be in a double pack instead of a single pack. I wanted to make that announcement. You guys, I'm going to keep on tweaking as I see what works. And for any small business owners who are watching me, because a couple of you said you were inspired by the candle line. For those who've been asking about what candles to use, I'm going to do a quick rundown. Let me go on the website real quick. A quick rundown before I go, because tomorrow, this is so exciting. Tomorrow is Tarot Tuesday again, except this is a special cuffing season edition of Tarot Tuesday where we're going to be talking about love and love only. So tomorrow, please come back. I am doing... somebody said, this is your year, Blue. Oh, I received that, love. Thank you, because I had a couple years that weren't. We're doing Tarot Tuesday, but we're doing cuffing season love readings starting tomorrow. And we're going to be doing it 2 weeks after regular Tarot Tuesday. So the first Tuesday of the month is going to be regular Tarot Tuesday for all zodiac signs. And the first Tuesday of the month is regular. And the third Tuesday of the month is going to be love readings. I'm doing this through cuffing season because you all are going to be asking me about love anyways. I already know. Even when we tried to do the reading 2 weeks ago, half the questions were about love. We are doing our own special love readings by themselves so that you guys can focus, right? And for those who are inspired by business, please be supple. You see how I come on here and say, hey, I was doing this and the audience showed me and needed me to tweak it this way. My ego is not steeped in this. I told myself I would only bring something to the marketplace if it was helping better people's lives. I don't want to just sell you stuff. Right? So the reason why the most popular thing on my site is the least expensive thing on my site is the spiritual bath, which is why I had to double the size, right? So this is not about just buying stuff on TikTok shop. If you are not ready for a candle and you love me, don't buy it till you're ready. I know a marketer would say, Blue, don't say that. My spirit guides that I serve require me to say that. Please, guys, we're going to do a quick rundown of what the candles are for before I go, because the number one question that you guys have been DMing me all over social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Threads, even on TikTok, is which candle do I get? We're going to do a quick rundown, and tomorrow I'll elaborate even more. All right. The big wick energy candle is if you need to be fortified and tap into your masculine energy. That doesn't mean you have to be a man, right? Women can tap into their masculine energy, especially if you've been too soft. A divine feminine, that is the candle for the inverse, right? Divine feminine is the pure sweetness candle. The pure sweetness candle is about those of you who need to soften up and calm down. The whole strong black woman thing that's killing us. If you are someone who has been too strong and nobody's there to hold you at night and tell you it's going to be okay, pure sweetness is the candle for you, because you need to tap into the part of you that's even open to being held that way so that you can draw it in. I actually have been burning pure sweetness a lot, to be perfectly honest. Clarity and peace. I love this candle. Clarity and peace is the candle that you bring to a housewarming to bless a new space, or when you have been going through it and you are overthinking and you just need to calm the fuck down. Good juju, my personal fave. This is the happiness candle. This is the candle when you want to tap into vitality because you're about to start something new, right? And somebody said, can't wait to hear what your spirit guides have to say about my abysmal love. Oh, well, child. Right? So the good juju candle is about bringing vitality back into your life. Heal thyself. Actually, should I put up the page? Let me show the page real quick as I go through this quickly. By the way, that we're about to end in about 5 minutes, but that episode with Preston was so good. I love him so much. All right, let's see. Bring this up so you guys can see it. So, guys, you'll see here the first candle here is. The first candle here is Big Wick Energy, Clarity and Peace, and Good Juju, right? I already talked about those three. The next candle is Heal Thyself. If you're going through heartbreak or heartache, this is 100% the one for you. If you're going to that dark night of the soul where you need to lay down somewhere and heal from what is trying to break you, or recover from what's already broken you and succeeded. When you need to go lay down and chill the fuck out and put salve on the wound, it's the Heal Thyself candle. The protection candle, to me, this is the number one essential candle. I always say, if you're only going to get 2 candles, get whatever candle you want and the protection candle. This is what I do as far as making sure that I'm protected from any forces around me that I don't even know are out to get me. A lot of times I find people are doing things behind my back. I light a protection candle every 3 months. Every quarter, I light a protection candle. We already talked about pure sweetness. Oh, that looks so soft. These pictures are nice. Return to sender. This is the one I do when I know that somebody's out to get me or people are speaking ill of me and I want to send back all the bad juju. I also, actually, funny enough, I do a return to sender protection combo every quarter as as spiritual insurance. So if you don't know what's happening, you just know that shit has been weird, I would say return to sender and protection are the insurance policy. And last but not least, this is Bridget Kelly's favorite. This is my second favorite, the road opener. This is the one that you do when you want to start bringing in new blessings. Now, guys, here's something that's so interesting. Because I, just am used to doing what I do, I forgot to show you guys that we actually have accessories. I'm not going to show you all the accessories because I don't really need y'all to buy the accessories if you don't want to. But there's a piece of merchandise that I have had on this site for 5 years that I just recently ordered. It is the Audrey to Baldwin unisex hoodie. I ordered it to wear it in the fall because I have to hire some friends to help me in the shop. And it's so funny because I think this is going to be our uniform. I'm going to have them. This looks so thin on him. The one that I have is a lot thicker. Actually, you know what? I'm about to go get the sweatshirt and show it to you because mine just came in. I shipped myself the note. I'll be right back. Because this man they got is not doing it justice. I want to show you guys. I love this sweatshirt. It is so thick. I'm probably going to be wearing this to the airport. So it is very thick and it says, can you guys see? Hold on, I'm trying to do it past the green screen. It says Audrey and Alice and Vineyard and Baldwin, right? For those writers out there, you guys all know. And on the sleeve, I'm so excited about this. Mind you, I've had these for 5 years. I don't ever market anything. I need to get someone who does marketing. And look on the sleeve, there's a logo right on the sleeve. It's so cute. This is so thick and warm. If you see me wearing this in future lives, you know where to get it, because I know people are going to ask. And I just want to say, guys, thank you. As you can see, I have been building my business quietly with no publicity and only through word of mouth. I have survived 100% through word of mouth. Not going to get emotional. Because I always felt like I don't want to tap dance to sell people stuff. And so people who hear about me organically and who recommend me and who know that I do good work and I sell good products, I'll let them do the speaking for me. The fact that you guys have made me feel so seen and so loved and so safe enough to share these products that I've been selling for years quietly, that's a testament to the energy and the spirit that is in this space that we've co-created together since July, when I started doing these lives on YouTube instead of Instagram. And I cannot tell you enough just how much it means to me that I just kept on doing what I knew was right, and the audience eventually showed up for me. So yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, so whether it's a sweatshirt or a candle or some spiritual bath, or you're signing up for the class, I'm going to constantly do my best to give you more than what you paid for. That is my personal commitment. So tomorrow we are going to do love readings. And because of that, I'm glad you guys found me too. Thank you, Gia. Thank you to everybody who's in here. Because the love readings are going to drain me, I have to go because I have to rest until we do those. All right. I will see you guys later. Actually, I will see you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. All right. Love you. Bye. So good.